Yo, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the VR Link. How you doing? Welcome to episode 29. Can't believe it. Salsa let me know, and that is episode 29 of us doing this, I believe, yeah? This is us four. Can't believe that, man. That is absolutely crazy. If you haven't been here before, this is our weekly Sunday VR chat show, and welcome to 2020, everyone. Hope you all had a good Christmas and a good New Year and stuff.
Not bad.
Good.
I was out last week, obviously.
You were
having drinks for a friend's birthday, but I did watch you guys back before the thing to watch all the interesting stuff that happened.
Yeah, I mean, Lincoln was. You loved last week's show, man. You reckon it was one of our best, which is pretty cool to hear.
Well, I think it was more because we were very involved with the chat.
Yeah, I love being involved with the chat. I think it's the best thing.
Yeah.
So, anyway, intros. Sorry, in case you haven't been here before, this show gives you and us a chance to discuss the latest goings on in virtual reality news, game releases in one mighty chunk. You can listen again to the VR Link on Spotify and on Anchor as a podcast. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank the amazing patrons of the channel. The channel members, they're the people with the GT symbols. Thank you ever so much. And the names listed below are the patrons and channel members. Thank you. If you're looking for ways to support this channel, please check the links in the description. And while you're there, please join our community Discord, which is full of positive VR enthusiasts and headset owners. And also there is a VR Link section where you can leave questions and ideas or conversation points that you would like seen in future shows. So let's introduce our co-hosts. We have Nat from 7 Degrees of Gaming.
Hi there, guys.
Still beardless. We got Salsa from Salsa Ketchup VR.
Hello.
And we got Lincoln Clay from Lincoln Clay 670.
You know who it is, everybody. It is the godfather of VR, the ageless wonder, the sexiest man to kill his third PC. Welcome to the VR Link, everyone.
He's sexy man to kill a PC. That's different. How you doing, guys? Let's have a quick look in the chat. Who have we got today? Thank you for clicking that bell. I hope you enjoyed the intro. The reason behind the intro, and I'm sort of half and half on the idea of having that kind of long intro, is because people aren't getting notifications straight away. The amount of times we're sort of caught away for a show and people say, oh, I missed the notification, or I didn't get a notification. It seems to be if you have a longer startup, people have more chance of seeing us live, so that's why I've done it. But I hope it's quite cool, and I hope you enjoyed it. Oculus Quest Fun, DJ, how are you doing? You alright, guys? Anthony Thiel, how are you doing, man? Nat read one of your comments. What did he say, Nat? Have you got it?
I haven't got it up, but he was saying, I believe, that he's just recently got an Oculus Quest. It was a bit expensive, but it's worth every penny to him. Just fantastic news.
Superb. Welcome to the club. German Rifter, he can't watch live, but no worries, man. Look after yourself. Thank you ever so much. He actually shared us on Twitter, so massive respect there. Thank you very much.
Yep.
Hello, Dark. How you doing? Thank you. Oh, your symbol's pink. Nice.
We've got a Joseph Poro says, hello, greetings from Spain.
Hello.
Welcome to the VR Link.
Nice, man.
Hi,
nice.
Spain.
Brandon, Midlife.
Hola.
How you doing, man? You all right? Hello, Ham. You got cold yogurt, lily pad. Have I missed anyone yet? Have I missed anyone? Hard to get.
So?
Rob C.
PGK2's in there.
Nice. Miami Vice. He's loving the. I think he's loving the background.
Givens, how are you?
Nice. Get to the chopper. How you doing, Nocturnal Wolf? Epo intro. Thank you. I'm glad. That's okay. It seems quite a positive thing. People seem to enjoy it. The music's a hard one to get right. You know. I think I was saying to Salsa. I think I spent about 4 or 6 hours making that, and I kept changing things. But it seems to have worked out okay. The VR Realm. You all good, guys? Buck. Wow, there's so many people in here already. Thank you. Jason L.
Yeah.
What's happening, geezers? Edwin.
We're about to find out.
Joseph. Happy New Year. Just the memes. How's it going? You all right? What are you doing? And it's your first VR Link. Well, I hope you enjoy yourself. So, let's talk about what games we've been playing this week, and if anyone can let us know in the chat what you've been playing as well before we get into the VR news, because I've still got my intro. I've got my little news segment I like to play, you know, to confirm we're doing the news. So yeah, let's start with Nat. How you been doing this week? I think you said you was little bit under the weather at the moment.
Yeah, ever since New Year's Day, I've been a little bit under the weather. It's one of the reasons I didn't do my own show yesterday. To be honest, the only VR game I've played, and it's been a good one, thankfully, was earlier in the week. I played Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice VR edition.
Wow, how was
I
that? Because I've
blown
heard
away by
it is
it.
amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, I was blown away by it. Visually, it's a feast for the eyes. Obviously, I personally think the best part of that game is the sound design.
Yeah.
It's really, really good, and it's
Heard that about the game,
yeah.
that the sound is amazing. All those voices, like in surround sound.
Yeah.
It's also how it responds to you as well. I think how well you're getting on in the game, so it doesn't just surround you; it also encourages you or dissuades you and all sorts. It's really creepy.
But yeah, I've really enjoyed that. Apart from that, the only other thing I've been playing is quite a bit of The Witcher 3 on Nintendo Switch.
Everyone is banging out The Witcher 3 at the moment because of the TV
It
show.
is because of the TV show. Just I just want to go back to that world again. So I've played the hell out of Witcher 3 on PS4.
Have you
So
finished?
I've
You obviously been watching the TV series. How far are you into it?
I know I've seen all the episodes.
See, I haven't. I'm still on episode 4, I believe.
I
but-
did it in 2 sessions. I did 4 episodes each.
It is fantastic. There's loads of
Yeah.
It is fantastic. It's really good. It's really good. So yeah, Witcher 3, man. I saw that version as well because I remember a long time ago someone was saying it's coming to Switch and they were like, dude, they won't be able to get that on a Switch. And I saw it running EGX and it looked great. Is it good?
Yeah, I mean, in docked mode, it's not fantastic. But in handheld mode, it's really good. It does chug a little bit during cutscenes, but to be honest, if the game's going to chug, I'd prefer it to be during a cutscene rather than during gameplay.
100%.
But gameplay's buttery smooth. Most probably is running at 30 frames a second. I can't see it running at 60, although there's meant to be a patch incoming soon. So we'll wait and see what that does. But yeah, I'm well impressed by it. And to be honest, once I think I've said it before about sort of certain games on PlayStation VR and stuff. Once you're actually in the game, those sort of things become secondary.
Yeah.
It's how much the game can grab you. So I've also picked up before the Steam sale finished. I picked up a load of Steam VR games and VR games in general. I've kind of got myself, set now for quite a few weeks of gaming.
Sweet.
To say the least.
So I went on the Steam store and I did not realise how many strip club VR games there are. I feel so late
to find them,
mate. Honestly, they were in there. I was basically thinking, I was going through, I thought new and trending, and there's certain people I know who own one of the ones that I was watching, and my Mrs. GT sitting on there watching, and she was like, "Turn that off," and I was like, "Dude, that is so graphic." I couldn't believe it. Like, I haven't done anything like that in virtual reality yet, so I know
One of them was free, and
the admittance is
no, listen,
VR
listen. I follow a lot of YouTubers. One of them he goes by the name of Mr. 4K Upscaler.
I remember him.
He's moderately into VR, and he was the one that pointed that game out and that it was free. So I figured it's a free game.
Is it called VR Paradise?
Yes.
Troy Martin just said it.
And
man, I could not believe the trailer. I was like,
if you go into the club and they always got 2 dancers on the poles, but like the private dances, that's when you got to drop out some real money.
You're joking. You got to pay real money.
If you want a private dance, you in this room and the girl starts to dance for you, and then it looks like she's getting ready to do some really suggestive things.
Mate, that trailer shows. I couldn't believe what I saw, and it looked pretty real. I was like, what it moves. The stuff moves when it should.
Remember, this is a VR. This is a family-friendly show.
That's just crazy.
Exactly. While I'm keeping my language rated G.
Lincoln, I'm going to say you were one of the names I saw on there, and I said to my wife, "Look, Lincoln's got it. I can't believe it. Like that should have been the first thing you ever said when we met." All right, my name's Lincoln.
Because,
By the way,
Steam, and then the thing about it is, compared to what kind of other games are out there, that game is rated G. That's the only one that I've taken a look at. But there are much more graphic games out there that I could not believe what I was like. The trailers that I saw, I couldn't believe it.
I can't believe there wasn't an age restriction thing at the beginning of the trailers. That's what I'm saying. I'm pretty sure anyone can look, unless it shows them to me because they know my age on Steam. It just played, and what I was watching, I was like, dude, that's crazy. Like, that's worse than what my friends used to try and get in their parents' bedrooms to show us all when we were kids. Do you know what I mean? I was like, what the hell? Unbelievable.
I mean, that's even before you go down the VR Kanojo type of route and all of that stuff as well.
Just
I mean,
Lincoln straight on the I need to explain. Unreal. I was laughing so much.
Miss GT is pointing something out. Let's move on.
Let's move on. Yeah. So before it's Salsa, what have you been playing this week, dude?
I've been playing a whole load of games. For those who don't know, my CV1, the cable is going funny, or I'm ending up with blackouts in the headset. So I've been testing out what games actually work well with the Oculus Quest Link.
Yeah.
And when you've pushed the visual settings up, because there is some background settings that one of the Oculus devs came through and said, hey, you can do this and you can push the resolution of the Quest up. So
is this natively, yeah? Is it or is this through the link? Through the link.
This is through the link. Before that, the Oculus driver. So if you go into the Oculus debug tool, you can change the actual resolution that it encodes the video out to the Quest app.
So I take it though, by doing this, because I have seen it and I have some videos, seen some videos on it, but I wasn't that interested in doing it until you said that today, that it does make a significant improvement, you were saying.
Mm-hmm.
Really? So, but I take it that's going to come at a cost of your PC?
It is, because that's extra demands on your PC. So the developer himself, he sort of like put down a rough guide of, if you've got this type of card, do it at this, do it at this, do it at this.
Okay.
So
that's good.
It's sort of like a case of, there's two main settings in there, and then there is like, everybody's always seen like when you do the super sampling and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So you do your super sampling stuff from the Oculus Trade tool instead of wherever, and you also have these other two settings. One is either default, high, or low.
Mm-hmm.
Low is where it is most demanding on a PC, and high and default at the moment are the same thing. So these settings are by no means the final. The next one is actually the pixel, total pixel length that it encodes the video at.
Yeah.
So it's sort of like encode at full res instead of the reduced resolution that it does at the moment. And then you use that distortion thing on low on a powerful PC. And you're basically then using or getting the whole quality of the Quest panels.
Yeah.
Which is the same resolution as a Vive Pro.
So why, I mean, would it be possible for you to make a video on it? Of how to do it and stuff?
Yeah, it's already like out there and different things like that, but I am still testing games that thing. So I've got some games work really well with it, others not so great. So you got things like Assetto Corsa works exceptionally well with it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, shockingly good. Project Cars 2.
Which Assetto Corsa?
Assetto Corsa, not Assetto Corsa Competizione.
The first one is actually on sale on Steam.
Competizione.
Yep, that's the one. It's like...
Let me get my monocle.
Perfect in it. It's beautiful.
Competizione.
Project Cars 2. DCS World works really well with it as well. You know, there's a few others. I was just in Eve Valkyrie. Eve Valkyrie, going back there, it looks spectacular inside it.
Awesome.
Uh,
I look forward to
so-
your video, man. If you could do that, that'd be great. I'm sure everyone
Yeah.
who watches the VR link would love to watch that, man. That'd be cool.
It's quite easy to do as well. It's just one of the things that sits in there in the program file, and you just use that as a general rough guide.
So
So
that's what you've been doing mostly this week. I take it that is your like gameplay of the week. Is like you've been testing all these different games.
yeah,
Oh, sweet. Anything else? Was there anything else in particular you played? What's up with Lincoln?
I've got stuff in the backlog at the minute. I've got stuff in the backlog.
I haven't. Apart from Asgard's Wrath, like someone messaged me today taking the mic.
Oh, that's another thing. Asgard Wrath is working again for me because obviously there was the problem that I had with the version of the Oculus software on the PC
Yeah.
that made everything stutter.
Yeah.
And they put out a new test channel version of that, which made that then work. So
Yeah.
I've got back into Asgard's Wrath as well.
Okay.
So hopefully we'll finish that. How are you doing on that, by the way, Lincoln?
I missed the tail end of that. What? Could you repeat that?
Asgard's Wrath. How are you doing on there as well?
Same as I was probably about 2 months ago.
Oh, come on. Damn. It's like the never-ending story.
You know, and the Oculus Quest gets a lot of blame for that.
Yeah. So let's go on to Lincoln, man. What have you been up to this week?
Well, as you guys know, my PC's dead. It's in the shop right now. I'm hoping to hear something back. I'm hoping that they will tell me that the PC can't be repaired so I can upgrade and get another Alienware that has an i7 in it, because the one that I have has i5 in it.
Right.
But as far as what I've been playing this week, I have been playing a ton of Dead and Buried on the Quest. I played a little bit of Firewall, and I've discovered Racket Fury Table Tennis VR, an awesome game. I have to definitely recommend that. If you have an Oculus Quest, that game is a must-have if you like table tennis.
Fantastic. Who doesn't like table tennis, dude? I mean, it's all about the physics in that game, isn't it? And the feeling of the controllers.
Are amazing because
Yeah.
I played. You know, it was called ping pong when I grew up. Some people get upset when you call it that, but
If someone got upset
father,
about a game being called ping pong instead of table tennis, they're not worth knowing. Like,
right? But I still call it ping pong because that's what I grew up on.
You do what you want to do.
My father bought a table when I was 7 years old, so it's in my blood. I've been playing this game, you know, about over 40 years.
I reckon we should start a petition, man, and get it called ping pong.
Yeah, there we go. But the physics are amazing. It mimics real ping pong where you put top spin and back spin on the ball, or as they call it when I was a kid, they called it putting English on the ball.
Oh, mate, yeah. Everyone needs a bit more of that.
All that stuff comes into play into the game. Absolutely amazing game. It was, and that game was referred to me through an Oculus community on Facebook, which has 34,000 members.
Oof.
And I invite anyone that likes to see a lot of positive stories, a lot of stories about new people getting Oculus Quest for the holidays.
Yeah.
A lot of videos, a lot of nice stories out there. So with your permission, I'd like to put the link to that community in the
Dude,
in the
absolutely.
chat.
Absolutely. We're fans of Facebook on here. I stream to Facebook page, and some of the communities have welcomed me in them as well. So, absolutely, dude. Absolutely.
And this is a community where you don't have to go through administrators. You just simply in. Just click join and you're in.
So, what have I been playing this week? I actually can't believe the amount of videos I put out this week. Done the best games part 1. And we've done
everyone.
a look back to Down the Rabbit Hole, which is coming to Oculus Quest, plus other headsets as well. But it's the Oculus Quest version from Gamescom. I've done basically a couple of re-videos: Undead Citadel, The Wizard's Dark Times, Iron Man VR, Sniper Elite VR. Like, put some gameplay up. They're older videos, but they're all the games coming in 2020 that I'm very hyped about and looking forward to. Then we jumped into Lo-Fi, which was absolutely fantastic again. Really gave me actually the vibes for creating the intro that you saw today. Funny enough. Then I done Sonic VR, which when I showed some... Yes, you muted.
Sorry, dude. That was just hilarious. Anybody who has not seen
It was
his
hilarious.
Sonic video, you've got to watch his Sonic video because he's running all the way through it, and his arms are going, and his legs are going. And it's like,
And that was like 6 retakes. I was knackered. Like, there's clips there where basically, when I first started it, right? When I first started it, I was running, and I had nothing on my floor to know where I was. And when I come out the headset, I was like that to the camera. And I was like, oh no, so I better do that again. And then I run off camera. Then I was over here, and I was like, okay, how am I going to do this? So I've got like this this hard plastic thing that my chair goes on so it doesn't ruin the carpet. That's part of the conditions for me setting up my studio in the bedroom. I basically use that to know if I run off anywhere in particular. And dude, that was absolutely amazing. And that was by Nim Sony, and it was fantastic. It really was. But it's one of those videos I don't like watching back because part of me thinks, God, you look like a right dick. But at the same time, it was fantastic. Like, being in Sonic was amazing. Like, I can't believe it. I still remember the Mega Drive launching and watching Sonic the Hedgehog for the first time. And you know, it's just one of those things you remember. And it was a privilege actually to be in there. So yeah, that was pretty cool. That was really cool. That is probably the highlight of my week. Apart from, there was one more highlight. I actually completed Boneworks finally last night. I was really just needed to get that done. And something we're going to cover later on is talking about the Protube VR testing.
Have they patched Boneworks yet? So I haven't.
There's two. There's been two.
There's been two. Have they put the save points?
Well, I thought they might have, but when I restarted my game, I was kind of back to where I was before, where I had to fight. I don't want to ruin it, but there's a bit in it, and you got to do something.
There's a bit in it. You got to do a thing.
And another thing, and one more thing, and then I died, and it made me go all the way back to the beginning of all the things, and I was like, no, they haven't fixed that at all. so
I'm waiting for the save point update myself before I go back into that.
When I checked their notes, I think they said that was supposed to be coming this month.
Right, okay. It is harsh. It is a little bit harsh, because the game is so physics-based and it's very experimental. Like, for example, I was climbing a castle, and I gripped hold of a massive cube of like brick or rock, and I thought that'll hold me, because it had before, but this time obviously my hand was just in that wrong place, too high, too far, and I went to climb up and it fell, and I fell, and I was like, no. Then I've got to do it all again, and then you get through this bit, then another bit, then I died, so I had to do all that again. I was like, man. But think back to the days of old school gaming, dude. Save points weren't really a thing too much, you know, and that's why, like, I remember the first time I played Forza, I loved the rewind feature. Loved it. I thought it was amazing. Like, it was a game changer. That's the first time I used it anyway. And then, like, by the third one, I was like, am I relying on this? Do you know what I mean? Am I, you know, and to the point I think they started giving you more points if you turned it off and didn't use it and stuff, XP and things. Because I think everyone was relying on it.
Sometimes old school games, they had short levels anyway that were just ramped in hardness. So it was more of the fact they were really hard rather than really long.
Nice.
In terms of gameplay, of the length of gameplay. So that's maybe why you didn't notice the save points as much on the old school ones, because it was a job to get to a save point.
It was.
But it didn't take you that long to get to it once you got it.
Nice.
Once I get my PC back, I think Boneworks is a game I probably have a better chance of finishing than Asgard's Wrath, because, you know, Asgard's Wrath is still a much better game in my opinion, but the curiosity of the game, like, okay, what's going to happen next? What kind of puzzle am I going to run into next? The next room am I going to go into? How much physics is in this room? How many items can I grab? How many items can I interact with? And, you know, so it's a curiosity that's keeping me going with that game.
Nice, dude. Nice. So let's jump into the chat. Let's have a look at what everyone's been playing. JD Max, and I knew this, he has been on Elite. He has discovered Elite Dangerous, and he is absolutely loving it. He was telling me, like, his in-cockpit voice was Jeremy Clarkson or someone else he's got doing it, Patrick Stewart or Kirk, I don't know. Someone's in there telling him what's going on, and he's absolutely loving Elite Dangerous at the moment.
Who's playing Elite?
JD Max.
Oh,
I've tried that
JMS.
before, but it was nothing like it was an air car kind of thing where I was just floating around the city, and I really didn't engage in any kind of combat. It was just one of those things where I was just flying through my backlog and just taking a look at games. So
Elite for me.
Yeah.
Do you remember a game? Well, a game called Frontier. Yeah.
Yep.
On Amiga or something. Now I remember it was just a challenge to take off and leave a planet without triggering something wrong and the police killing me every single bloody time. This game, because the thing is for me at the time and still now, the idea, and that's why No Man's Sky is brilliant, taking off in a spaceship and leaving an atmosphere is fantastic. And
Yeah.
Frontier.
Oh, yes.
Frontier was like that for the Amiga, but I was always chased by police. Always, it was just annoying, and you know. And this game, so I played Elite for a little while, and I actually found it a little bit difficult. I need someone to help me, basically, to get into it.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think the problem that you have for a number of games like Elite Dangerous is one of these games. DCS World is another of these games. Anything that has big, massive control system in behind it as well.
Yeah,
So I play Elite Dangerous and I've got like proper HOTAS and everything else like that. And there are so many controls and there's so much detail in the game for you to learn that you can be spending 20, 30, 40 more hours
yeah,
just learning the controls and what's actually in the game
yeah.
Mhm.
before you get to the game.
People like stream that for
that
hours.
might be one of the things that contributed to me not putting in any extra time, because I do have a HOTAS flight stick and I try to use it, but you know I couldn't get the thing calibrated. or whatever,
Ah,
and I
so
just, I
that-
just simplified
that
it
will
by
lead
using
me-
the Xbox controller.
To talk about this. So this is what I used the other day. This is a Move controller, by the way. This is the Move controller add-on, which I've now got working, and I will be doing hopefully a stream with No Man's Sky. I think you picked this up for. I think it's. Where's my prices? I've got the prices
Yeah, they've
here.
got those for the touch controllers as well.
Where is it? Yeah. So this and this. I haven't got them individually, but this and this is €48 or £36 or $53, right? And then you've got basically if you've got a Protube, you can just use that cup. And yeah, so I was playing what was I playing the other day? End Space. I was playing End Space,
Yep.
and man, it worked really well. And I know
Yeah,
like
it
some
also
people.
worked for what's the other one? There's another flight game that's really good on the Ultra Wings.
Ultra Wings. So I went to use Ultra Wings, and the only thing I found is the stick of Ultra Wings in the middle. It's in the middle
Yeah.
of the cockpit, so I'd have to feel like it's in the middle for me. And unfortunately, it was on the side here. So I'm thinking for like Elite, if it responds to touch control movement. I'm not sure if it does. End Space does. End Space, you can physically tilt it like an arcade game, and
Yeah.
then that's how you fly your ships. And yeah, I mean, you could have two of them, for example. I thought it was really cool, and the main reason was mobility. Like the Quest is all about being mobile, so you could take this wherever and show people what it's like to fly something like that in virtuality. I thought it was pretty cool. Lincoln, you don't seem very sold on the idea. Do you think that's really expensive compared to a HOTAS?
My thinking was that I don't know, because the HOTAS flight stick that I bought, I think I paid about $70 for it. So
Yeah.
you know, I almost feel like for a few dollars more, I'd rather get the real thing.
No, you're right, and a lot of people have said that. Some people didn't. Some people saw the mobility of it and liked that, and the fact that you can interchange the cups as well, and there's no setup. If the game
Yeah.
responds to physical movement with the touch controllers, like No Man's Sky, and like you fly your ship with your hand, then it works. It's compatible straight
I
away.
think for No Man's Sky is a definite one.
I want to
Yeah,
try it.
Absolutely.
I want to try
Nice
it.
gadget though, so it does look interesting though.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool, man. I thought it was really good. So yeah, they sent me one of them to try. So we've done a stream of it in space. That's the other thing I forgot to mention. Now I'm mentioning that. And then,
All in all, that's probably a better device to use than the HOTAS flight stick, because if you're using a hold as flight stick and then you jump out and you're moving about, and you're still using a hold as flight stick while you're moving about, it kind of breaks the immersion to me. But something like that looks like you can use it as a flight stick, and then once you jump out of the ship, you can pull it out of that cup and then go back to using it as your hand. So in that aspect, it's a pretty good. It's like a pretty good device.
The same as this, man. It's the same as this, isn't it? You're going along and you're shooting someone and you pull it off. You got your pistol. You got your strap. You wrap this around your back.
Yeah,
that's the idea of it.
I think a game like Firewall, in my opinion, would never like an aim controller would never work on a game like Pavlov, in my opinion.
Because it's pistol.
Unless you got that Protube where you can unhook the cups and then this acts you use it as your hands once you unhook it.
Yeah. I think the aim controller was one of those things that really made sense and was brilliant because it finally gave us joysticks in virtual reality. So you could play a game with joysticks. That was and obviously it works great. If your tracking's fantastic and it's all set up well, it works really well.
So maybe I backtrack what I said a little bit. Maybe there's something that I will grab.
Yeah, I mean, just watch a couple of minutes of the video, the N-Space video, and you'll see it working. I had 2 cameras set up. I also found an Easter egg in N-Space where there was a virtual boy that you could play in the game of N-Space.
Yeah, that came along. It used to be in there, and it got removed.
Is it on the PlayStation version? Do you know?
Back in. No, it wasn't in the PlayStation version. It was in version 2 of the Gear VR version. Because I've played N-Space since version 1 on the Gear VR.
Yeah.
And version 2, it had it in. And then when it came to PSVR, they lost it.
Right.
And now it's back again after I've been talking to developers and stuff through that whole thing of that game. Because N-Space has been now on every major VR platform.
Yeah.
It was on mobile VR and Gear VR. It's been Go. It's been on PSVR. It's come to PC as well.
Yeah.
Across every single platform, and they still keep on at it. It's basically a 2-man studio, 2 brothers in fact, and it's it's their project. It's something they want on there, and they do keep on adding to that game as time goes on. So it's always interesting for me to go back into N-Space whenever they do an update and see what's actually come along.
Just go back.
From what I've seen of that game, it looks incredible. But the one thing that stopped me from pulling the trigger on it is doesn't seem to have any kind of multiplayer, co-op or player versus player.
No, it's
like an arcade game, isn't it? It's like it's quite an arcade, but it's tough in places.
It is built as the one-player game, and there's some very solid reasons for that. The fact that every other flying game that was out there in VR was focused on multiplayer, and they were all failing. And the one thing that everybody said was, "Where's the single-player VR Starship game? Where's
look? It still has that look that if it had multiplayer, it could be the Eve Valkyrie killer."
No. I disagree on that one for a number of reasons, but it's. For me, it's sort of like they don't have the resource to do that. They simply don't. But it is been focused onto that single thing. It's supposed to be like your old school Wing Commander.
Yeah, and it's also always been reasonably priced as well. It's always been a low price game.
It's always been a low price game.
And it's one of those games I think when you play it, I don't think you'd feel ripped off. I think you'd think, this is good. There's a lovely sense of immersion.
It's slow to get into it, actually. First of all, the first couple of rounds is not so great, I don't think. And then it picks up the pace somewhat. So if you do end up picking up N-Space, the first couple of rounds is a little bit, it picks up and gets a lot better as you get better. Exactly.
Nice. So next, trying to get through what people have been playing. Oculus Quest Front has been doing Real Fishing VR, trying to do the salt water level updates and stuff. And I'm the same dude. I'm exactly the same. That's what I've been doing. I've been playing Real Fishing VR.
I believe Real Fishing was a subject last week while I was away.
Was it? What did we talk
Yeah,
about?
it
Real
was
fishing?
really high up on the.
Really
Oh,
high up on the
yeah.
list.
I think there's a demo of that game on the Oculus Quest.
Oh, nice. I didn't know that. That's cool.
And
I
I've
know there's
tried it.
Dance Central.
And I tried it. I liked it.
Were you not blown away by the graphics in Real VR Fishing? I was blown away when I saw that.
The graphics was okay. Like the background wasn't anything impressive, but the fish itself that you catch, the fish is detailed.
Mate, I cannot disagree more. I was like, it blew my mind, which is probably why I end up in the charts then last week. Oh, dude. Who else we got? Great Tanger's been playing GT Sport, Dirt VR, and Beat Saber. Nice, they're all reliable games. Just Memes has been playing he's been visiting Big Screen, which I did this week as well. That was absolutely awesome, actually. Really, really, really like that place. Got some things running as well. Thinking of doing some community cinema nights at some point. Now I've got it all working. I know what I'm doing. So yeah, we'll be doing that over in the Discord. He's also been playing Arizona Sunshine. Good shout. TGK's been playing Racket Fury. No worries, Anthony. Take care of yourself. I know that was absolutely ages ago. VR Realms, we're doing Hellblade 2. Oh, sorry. He said Hellblade 2. Better get VR. We need your theory. Yeah. Get to the chopper. He has gone quest mad, I think, by the looks of it, because he won a quest the other week.
He won 2.
What?
He won 2.
What do you mean?
He won 2 quests.
He won 2 quests?
Yep.
That isn't possible.
He won 1 competition for a quest.
Yeah.
Then the next day, he won a 2nd competition for a quest.
You're joking.
I could not have had that kind of luck even if I rigged it.
Did he really? Really?
Yes, he did. He did. That it was going to start
DJ says
some
he only won
memes
1.
that it was going to start some memes going on the different things that was done with like ones out there doing some competitions as well.
They're all saying I'll have one. But DJ, who I know spends a lot of time online.
Did he only win the 1? Who was it that won the 2 then?
I don't know, but I think DJ would know because he's on Get to the Choppers channel a lot. So
I thought he won 2.
he ain't it.
Sure
He's obviously not here.
Maybe said thing one back. But
Well, I'll have to
2.
ping him a message and see what's going on. Dark says he picked up Dave's Gone in the sale, loving it. Ham picked up a quest, nice. Also, Ham will be streaming wireless with a quest soon, which is pretty cool. He's been playing VR Fishing, Synth Riders, good man. Gun Club VR, Rush, and Beat Saber 360s, loving that wireless feeling. Absolutely. Joseph, I got a Rift test less than a month ago, and last week I broke my thumb.
I saw him.
Yeah.
I saw that he got a quest, and I welcomed him to the community last week. Furthermore, I'd like to go ahead and put my Oculus username in the chat, so anyone who has a quest, feel free to send me a friend request.
That's what it's all about. Amazing LSB! Wow, dude, how you doing? Nice, I haven't seen you for such a long time. Hope you're well, man. Hope you're well. He also asked Joseph, is there any cool games you can play with one hand? Beat Saber's got a one-hand mode. I know that.
Pistol
Whip. Anything else we can think of? I don't know if you... No, we'll have to come back to that.
Quill, you can watch a lot of different animations and stuff like that are on there as well.
Quill is absolutely amazing. Oculus TV and Quill Theatre, I think it's called. Quill Theatre is
Quill, as in
amazing.
The moss character?
No, Quill as in the pen.
It is brilliant, dude, honestly. If you got an Oculus Quest, definitely check that out. Where are we? TGK says he's loving The Witcher. We might have to skip some of this forward, guys, because I know I am so far back on the chat looking at this stuff. Nice. Where are we? And I think then it goes on to... Oh, TGK...
Look at what JD Max said. I'm sorry. He says Paradise VR, you can play one-handed.
VR Paradise, yeah. Man, okay.
Oh, no.
TGK's been saying, playing something I'm not going to try and pronounce, and Code Vein, nice and flat. Jason L, he actually just started Hellblade on PS4. He said, man, that game gave him the creeps with all the voices that are messing with his head. especially with the lights off and the earphones. So it must be quite intense in virtual reality then, in
Very.
places. Yeah.
Very intense.
That sounds absolutely awesome. And then yeah, basically then it goes into talking about what we talked about earlier. So let's move on to some VR news, which where's my bloody thing? Look, I've lost it. You think you'd be
Find the button, man.
You think it'd be all about perfect timing and stuff? Here we go. Oh yeah. So yeah, so VR news, bit light this week to be honest. Been scraping around, but where would this run this? Let me just check. I just need to set something up here quickly. Main video clips, that will go into there.
And this is when you know a show is live.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
Always
but
live.
seat your pants. So Respawn, who have developed things like Titanfall and other games, I personally love Titanfall, wants to be very wary of realistic violence in the upcoming game Medal of Honor. And yeah, it was something on Upload that I spotted, and it looks pretty cool. Have you guys read this? Have you seen?
Yeah, I've seen their reasoning behind it. What they're saying, and I think they're quite right, is VR gives you a definite sense of immersion and
Yeah.
realism.
Yeah.
And they want to scale that back. They think that for some people it could be too realistic.
Is it going to be optional?
No,
You know what I mean?
What I'm hoping.
You know, like some games say, do you want gore on? Do you want it off? Do you want, like...
not from what I could tell. It sounds like they're going to scale back the whole thing. I think it'll still be a quite intense game.
I think you're making a game that kind of centers around the Second World War, and I'm pretty sure it had to be, the ground battles had to be pretty graphic. Land mines, grenades, everything, body parts being blown all over the place. And as graphic as that would be, I would like to see it.
So
yeah, but they've talked to actual veterans, and I think that's one of the reasons why they're doing this, because obviously out of respect for the actual veterans that served in there,
yeah,
and how effective it was to them. They don't want it to seem they're taking, what's the word I'm trying to think of?
You don't want it cheapened.
Yes, that's the word, yeah.
So they've said Respawn have mentioned their desire to be authentic but not necessarily realistic in Medal of Honor Above and Beyond. As fidelity gets better and VR gets more immersive, you kind of feel like you're there. That translates to, am I harming another more realistic looking human being? That's something we're going to have to be very wary of. This is Vince Zambala. He says in an interview with LA Times, when you know the setting is life and death, and it's an hysterical, and it's an historical thing, while you may be causing harm to virtual humans, you're doing it for the good of other virtual humans. In that situation, it's something that was valuable to the world. Like, I get it. I mean, but you could have said that about a lot of games. Is this like? Thinking about, is this because it's a historic event? It's a massive historical event.
But I also think that's a kind of... When I've said about VR and historical events, it's about learning from the past and learning the mistakes that you don't want to make. So in some ways, I kind of see that as a step backwards in saying, look, this is how it was, and to know that truly happened is a horrific thing, that people lived through that and went through a torment of things there. But it is a case of whether people are able to disconnect and reconnect the parts in their mind in a good and constructive way. That may be more of a worry.
This is
me personally.
What I think, right? This is what I take from this. If anyone's experienced Anne Frank's thing, yeah, and I know Nat has and some other people have, that's going for realism. That's going for trying to take you back to the house where she was, showing you round, and you sort of read her diaries, listen to the lady's voice, and you get her. But at the same time, I think they want to make an entertaining game as well. you know, at the same time. So I think that's what they're probably going for a bit, and what they're
Okay.
trying to say is.
Well, I've seen in the chat people are sort of like saying, about, what about all the other, World War II games, or what about Saving Private Ryan and things like this. The thing is, there's a disconnect there. It's on a 2D plane.
Yeah.
You can pause. You can get yourself out of it. JD, where he's like, oh, what about Resident Evil 7 then? That's actually the point. Resident Evil 7 is so scary because you can't take yourself out of that plane. You're trapped in that plane. That's what makes it so terrifying. And I think that's what they're looking at with this. Look, at the end of the day, they're making the game. The most important thing about making the game is making it fun. If you're playing a game and people are closing their eyes and they're squeamish and they're turning away because it's just too much for them, that ain't a fun game.
I don't know. Do you remember what was the Manhunt? Do you remember that?
I
On
remember the
PlayStation.
controversy with Manhunt, and I played it, and that was But again, you still got that disconnect that, it's not you. You're not in that.
Well, the thing is, that's what I think
person.
virtuality has done. Is like back in the day, before virtuality, games felt quite realistic to me. I was genuinely scared of PT when that happened. Like, that was bloody scary, us doing that stuff. And I think, and Dead Space, there were certain elements of Dead Space made you jump. I still think films and stuff can make you jump, and they're scared with music and all that stuff. But virtuality is another level of things going on. You feel like it's weird. Something can make you jump because it's fast and it's loud, but in virtuality you feel like you're there, as a lot of you will know. And I think, go on.
I was going to say that, during my generation, when movies like Full Metal Jacket and Platoon were, pretty good movies, these movies supposedly talk to veterans, and they wanted more realism in these movies. They wanted them to be highly accurate, and military would get offended if they put together a Rambo type movie. They wanted people to see the horrors of war.
Yeah, it's difficult,
But
isn't it?
That's the quandary, isn't it? It's like where you talk about Full Metal Jacket, where Kubrick wanted that. He wanted you to be disturbed. That's the whole point of that. They're not building Medal of Honor, Above and Beyond. They're not building that game for you to be disturbed. I think
they're building it for entertainment.
They're building it for entertainment. They kind of want to have that little fine line to be a Rambo-esque type game, but with a sense of historical accuracy.
That's what, yeah.
So I think people are getting too hung up on the realism, and they're going to they're not going to edit themselves. They're not going to take stuff out. But it's a bit like what you were saying, GT. I always remember Modern Warfare 2, where literally before you even start the game, they actually tell you there's going to be this one scene, and do you want to skip it?
Oh, yeah, the
no Russian scene, because it might be for people. And I remember having this discussion with people at work when that came out, because I played the no Russian scene, but there was this one guy who didn't want to play it. He always enjoyed Modern Warfare. He enjoyed World at War, which was the Treyarch game that came out after COD 4, and he enjoyed COD 4. And everyone was talking about this no Russian. I think he was the only one that hadn't played it, and he was just turning around going, "You guys are just sick that you wanted to play through that." And he just couldn't get it through his head. He goes, "Why would you want to play that particular scene?"
Yeah.
I think it was amazing because in me, I made a moral decision on that. I did not shoot not one single person in that scene.
Yeah, he didn't.
I watched everybody else shoot, but I didn't do it.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is to take away from this is one of their comments is they want it to be authentic, but not necessarily realistic. That could come down to you leave a stab hole in someone's neck. There's loads of blood. There's a lot of other ways. Maybe it's authentic because of timelines or areas, weapons of the time, all that stuff. But yeah, I don't know, man. I think they are making a a game. I think they're making a game and not an experience. I think that's what's to be taken away. In my opinion, guys, that's just what I think when I read about this.
Well, if they go for a hyper realism, the rating that game's going to get is going to be a problem.
For me to give my closing thoughts, like take a game like Gears of War. What is one of the things that made Gears of War stick around so many years? The blood and the gore of the destruction of an enemy. And I think if you put a VR multiplayer on Medal of Honor and it has that kind of blood and gore in it, I think that could have a huge impact on the longevity of the player base.
Yeah, but look at the opponents that you're taking on. You're not taking on humans. If you actually look at
that's been the best bit about it. Like Super Hot, you can be as violent as you want towards a guy made of crystal.
Yeah,
for example.
If you look at films, they get different ratings based on who you are actually committing the violence against.
Yeah.
If you're committing the violence against a human, you're going to get an 18 rating here in the UK or rated R in the States. But like Terminator films get like PG-13s because you're fighting robots. You're fighting aliens and stuff like that. That's why Star Wars.
Maybe I got a twisted mind because I thought that was the only thing that was wrong with Super Hot is that I'm fighting jeweled beings.
I don't think you are though.
It looked like because I would have loved to have seen that game. What a human's head blown clean off,
dude.
Matrix style on Super Hot.
I think the problem with this is it's a game about an historical event that means a lot to a lot of people. It's not a futurist. It's not an event that hasn't happened. Like for example, we can say about humans, The Walking Dead: Saints and Sinners. If you've seen any gameplay of that looks incredibly violent. But
you're doing it against zombies.
And people though in that game, I believe. But yeah, exactly. It's zombies, and it's a situation that isn't real. It hasn't happened. I know some people want it to happen, weirdly enough. Like, there's a guy I work with, he always said to me, there's a good spot that we could camp up in when the zombie apocalypse happens. He actually genuinely believes that it's going to happen. So, yeah,
I think people are just getting too worked up from what I've seen on not just the comments I've seen in the chat, but also the comments I've seen on Upload VR and who else put a message out about it. I think it was Road to VR also had an article about that, and people were going nuts over it. And it's just like, guys, don't worry, you're gonna have a good time in this game. There's gonna be enough realism in there. When you shoot a Nazi, he's gonna be dead. But look, the game is going to be taken to another level of immersion, and I give Respawn a lot of credit. They're taking their due diligence. My granddad, and I'm sure like a lot of our granddads, served in World War II. My granddad didn't spend a lot of time. He told me about some of the stuff that he did in World War II, but some of the stuff that was beyond the pale for him, that was really disturbing, he never shared that with me as a kid.
A lot of people,
like
yeah, that's right.
So that's the thing you got to take into account when it comes to this sort of stuff. So don't worry, you're not going to sort of like shoot someone and they're just going to stand there and be dead. They're still going to hit the floor and stuff like this. And
I think you got on to the next one. You got Cold Yogurt makes a good point. He was like, "This is why you don't let kids play VR." You know what I mean? Like, I don't think just VR. I think in general games have got to be correct for the age.
Monitoring content definitely for kids.
I wouldn't even care if this game had a 20 age rating or something, because I think at the end of the day, what they're worried about, and this comes down to obviously them trying to pin mass shootings and things like that. This subject can go massive, but they're saying sometimes video games have something to do with that stuff. Now, personally, I know a massive difference between wanting to hurt someone for real or playing a game. And unfortunately, a lot of games involve shooting. They do. A lot of games, because I guess that's one of mankind's fantasies, is to shoot guns. And why are games all about war? Because people want to be there, I guess, but would they want to be there in real life?
It's not really just shooting guns, is it? I mean, humanity's littered with conflict.
Yeah.
So games always? I mean, look what's happening with Iran and Iraq at the moment.
Yeah,
there is always been conflict between men. So that is always going to be a fertile ground for games, movies, books, music, you name it. We're always going to, talk about it, celebrate it. There's a reason why we celebrate our veterans, because they literally went through hell for us.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that.
They gave their
And
today for our tomorrow.
yeah,
say.
and they don't. Look, they don't want us to live through what they lived through. I remember my granddad saying that. I hope you never have to experience it, what I went through.
Yeah.
So that's it's a game. Let's not worry about what the developer's saying. They're still going to produce an amazing game.
Yeah, I've got no
That's
doubt of
my
that.
thing, so.
I've got no doubt of that
And
at all.
let's be honest, if it weren't for Half-Life Alyx, everyone would be talking about Medal of Honor Above and Beyond. Instead, everyone's talking about Half-Life Alyx instead.
Yeah, that's a good way to do that.
That's true.
I like that one. That was very artful there.
So let's go through some comments on this, because I think it's quite an important thing that everyone's got their opinions and stuff. Some get to the job. So some people get more immersed from TV, some books, some from games. Only people that have that violent, messed up nature internally will have an entertainment medium used as an excuse. Yeah, someone said, what about if you hurt someone in virtuality? Will it be a crime one day? Who knows, man? Who knows? Yeah, it's just it's touchy. It's touchy. So let's go on to Capcom. Have released a location-based arcade thing based on Resident Evil 7. It's called Walk Through the Fear. It's location-based multiplayer experience. If you haven't experienced location-based virtuality, it's very good. It's really good fun. So another one from Upload, Jamie over there. I've met him. He's a really lovely guy. Upload is fantastic. He says it lasts between 10 and 15 minutes. And obviously jump on if you want to read his full impressions. He said there was an issue with like the gun and hand placement, which obviously killed some of the immersion. But in certain ways, he still describes it as quite scary and things go on. I thought it was really cool. But the other thing I thought was, where's the bloody PC version then? Like they've like how can they get that to an arcade? Like a location-based experience, I assume it takes a lot of development, because it's going to be set in a certain area. It's always got to be a certain measurement, that player's got to feel like when they're walking around this 6 meter by 6 meter area that their game they're not leaving that area. They're walking around, because you don't need a controller to move. You physically move through the space like T for God, and the game isn't procedurally generated like T for God. It is a proper based experience, so they're going to know that area and know where you're going. So I was like,
yeah,
come on,
you
man.
also have custom-made controllers for this, and body tracking, and how that gets integrated into the game engine. Whereas the more standard stuff, because this is Unreal 4 that we're talking about, Unreal 4 engine has a number of different controller hook-ins already pre-made. So whereas the PC version, it went AWOL. Whoever knows where the on and off switch at Capcom obviously has disappeared.
Yeah.
This is supposed to be a room scale type experience where you're actually walking through.
Yeah, that's it. So
that's interesting. That's even though I don't do very well with horror games, it'd be something that I'd be interesting to try. And we just opened up a location based VR joint not too far from where I live.
Oh man, honestly, because and a bit like T for God was limited to my area. Yeah. I haven't tried it in a big area. It's something I need to try. I was meant to, but obviously things get in the way. But I played, I think it was 6 meter by 6 meters at Gamescom with a gentleman, and I played Arizona Sunshine, the DLC, the Silo DLC. But it was made to cater for location base. So you just have a gun with no joysticks, nothing. It just works like a gun. You've got a reload button and a shoot button. That's it. And you start off, you're talking to each other and you're shooting them all. And then I walked around to get the lever for him. And then he had to go and get something else, do the other lever on the other side of the room. Then we went down. And you done the whole level in that area.
I thought that's where we were headed with the Oculus Quest, when I've seen some videos of guys doing some room scale type stuff in the warehouse where I think they were playing
Space Pirate Arena, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I thought that's where we were headed with the Oculus Quest, where we was going to see, VR locations starting to pop up and using the Quest for that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. I think we are. I think that will happen.
That's supposed to be coming out still, isn't it? This coming year.
As far as I know, though, I think I don't know if last time I spoke about it and with some people, it's whether Oculus endorse it, because what they're worried about is maybe people running into each other. Because you've got the Guardian system, obviously, which is cool, but physical objects can get in the way. I don't know. I don't know how it's going to ride.
I don't think that game was designed for house use, though, was it? I think it was being designed for like a warehouse, like a location area.
Yeah. And I think what will happen is it'll drive more people to SideQuest. That's what I think will happen. More people will want to use SideQuest to get hold of certain games and pay for them. So that way.
I do want to say one thing about this, the Biohazard location device. Will Capcom please bring Resident Evil 7 to VR on PC?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I don't understand why that still hasn't happened. Sony's, as far as I'm aware, Sony's thing that they had on it is done. There's no reason for it to come. The amount of people that I know through this chat that have got PC VR and want, I would get Resident Evil 7 again.
I would too.
On PC,
yeah, same. PC. It's damn good. It's damn good.
They have a counter, don't they, that shows how many people have played it in VR.
Yeah, I think they got close to 1 million now.
Yeah,
and that's just on PlayStation VR.
But
if you look at the PlayStation VR channels that we all know are out there, Resident Evil 7 is still the thing. I think Resident Evil 7 was the #1 game when you did the VR chat with Nacy, wasn't it?
Our top 20 PlayStation VR games, Resident Evil was #1. Yeah, and that was that in beginning of December or end of November time? I think.
Yeah.
When was the third? Was it the third anniversary of PlayStation VR? I think. Wasn't it?
Yeah, it was the third anniversary because I wasn't able to do the show. That's why you like I say you was able to get Nacy to jump into my spot.
Yeah, that's it.
To be able to see that on PC, to see the clarity of a game like that on the PC. Because I double dipped on the Batman Arkham. I bought that on PC just so I could see it clearly through the Rift S. So yeah, I would definitely double dip.
I'll be honest.
Resident Evil.
It's not even the clarity. I think it looks amazing on PlayStation. Not one part of me wants to change that, but I'd like to have the guns not tracked to my face. I would like to have free motion. Do you know what I mean? I would like that. I don't know if they'll implement that. They probably wouldn't, even if they brought it to PC, because that would change the game all over again. You know what I mean? To be reloading shotguns manually.
Dark has mentioned in the chat about that Sony did fund the VR port, and that is actually accurate. But it wasn't, as far as I was aware, the things that I read, it wasn't exclusive for ever and ever. It was
a timed one.
It was a timed exclusive. So there's been, the only thing I can think of is that that somebody hasn't come along to Capcom and offered to pay for it. But we know that Oculus have done. Jason Rubin has actually said, we've gone to Capcom and we've offered, to pay
put up the money. Yeah.
So I have no.
There must be a limit though. They must be saying that's not enough. Like it's got to be.
Yeah, I mean, it could be that Oculus just aren't. Sony pay a lot more.
Who else could offer them some money? That
no, there is no one.
No, let's be honest. It's only Oculus that are going to do it.
Yeah, it's one of these cases of I think Japanese companies often don't work so well with companies that aren't Japanese and won't.
Yeah, I mean, it could be something as simple as what Salas has just said. It could be that Sony are Japanese, Capcom are Japanese, and they want to tell each other, and it's like, you're an American, sorry, they're not dealing with it. So I don't know. It's a frustration. I've had a lot of people, like I say, that talk to me about Resident Evil 7. It's a frustration for me because I think Resident Evil 7 is one of the best VR experiences out there. It's superb, and to be honest, I just want more people to experience it.
Yeah, and
that's the main reason.
Resident Evil, in my opinion, Resident Evil 7 in VR is the face of VR when it comes to horror games.
Nice.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, up until I would say 2019, it was the face of VR for a AAA game. Really,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's only in the last year that you've really. I mean, I know you've had big games, and I've expressed my admiration with, and I haven't finished it yet, with Lone Echo. Was a really good game, and same with Edge of Nowhere was a really good game. But it's only this year, last year, and moving towards this year, that we're getting real money being spent on AAA games,
True.
or moving to AAAs. Like I said, we keep talking about it, and there's a reason we keep talking about it. The excitement for Half-Life Alyx is at an insane level. I've never seen anything like that. People that are not in, I've got people at work, and I'm sure you guys have had it, and I'm sure people in the stream have had it. I've got people at my work asking me about VR because of Half-Life Alyx. What do I need to play Half-Life Alyx?
Yeah.
They're talking now. You understand? I don't know nothing about PCs. I mean, I speak to you guys when it comes to PCs, for God's sakes. I've got people asking me about PCs.
Yeah.
I've got this PC, and it's like, well, it should be okay, but you're most probably going to need a little bit more, because again, look, we've only got the minimum specs to run Half-Life.
Yeah. Half-Life Alyx has made me feel like I'm part of a special community where we've drawn out some jealousy, where people are actually
we're not the joke
upset that they can't play this game. But if you want to play it, you have to come to us. You have to join our community.
Angry Joe done it great. He said the same thing. He was like, this game looks amazing, but you're going to need to spend £1,000. That's the other thing I keep hearing. People think you've got to own a Valve Index to play it. They need to really push that out there somehow. That isn't the case. You can get a Rift and you'll be able to play it on other headsets. But yeah,
I think Valve have done that job. That's the thing. That if you actually go to the Half-Life Alyx website, they've got tons of information there. It is nothing to do. I mean,
I just think advertising wise, I think like when you play it, they're gonna wonder what headset you're on. That's what I think's gonna happen. Is that an Index? You're gonna go, and someone who's never played VR, they're gonna go, is that an Index? You're gonna go, no, it's an Oculus Quest.
That's a bit of the point that a lot of people who don't know VR, they'll skim over the details from the people that do, and they'll just listen to whoever doesn't and just goes, oh, well, and even if you put it in to some people's face that you don't have to spend $1,000, you can spend $400.
Yeah.
I mean,
and get the job done.
So.
They will miss the part that says to them, you can spend 400 and get the job done.
Yeah.
They will still miss that point.
But a lot of us YouTubers, when we do VR streams, a lot of us put the headset that we're using in the title.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I do.
Because I had a load of people asking me what game was it I was playing. Boneworks. And they were like, how can you play that on the Oculus Quest? Even though in my title it actually says Link Beta.
Yeah.
I had people asking me, how are you playing that on the Oculus Quest?
Exactly that. I've been with testing stuff. I sort of like went, here's DCS World being tested on the Oculus Quest with Link, and then somebody immediately asked me a question about CV1. And I'm like, I'm not using a CV1, I'm using a Quest.
Yeah.
You can see it. It's written there with hashtag Quest.
And I've had a couple of people now, which I'm really surprised about. I think definitely one has done this, I think. He had a Quest. He then got a PC. He then got the Link. He then sold his Quest to now get the Rift S and a Valve Index. Because he just wants to stay in PC. Because the fidelity and the graphics and everything were like, he's that sort of guy, that's what he's looking for. He's looking for the best experience. Yeah, he's looking for which costs. There's no two ways about it. That's it does. And yeah, so that was something I've not heard of before, to be honest. Because I mean, when I was talking to him, I was saying, but the wireless thing for me is huge. I love it, but I can see what he's saying in a way as well. I'm like, graphically, PC games, certain ones. Do you know what I mean? It's like
Yeah, I fell into that construct because I was definitely a person that was focused on graphics. Even right now, I still consider PC VR a premium experience. It's just it's
Yeah.
just the convenience of the Quest has just captured me, but I still feel that PC VR is still the best experience, and that's all to it. When I want that premium experience, when I want to see the best graphics, I'm gonna fire up my PC.
Jason L. No, I don't think any of us own an index here. The one person I thought would be Salsa, actually, out of all of us. I thought he was
I'm considering it.
I thought he would jump already. But yeah, they are expensive. And also, like Dark is saying as well, we had this in our Discord literally today. We had someone come in, nice new guy, and he was chatting away, and he was saying he was going to get an index. And then I was like, oh, that's cool, man. Like, but are you aware of the compatibility issues with the controllers? Not every game can be played with an index, and that is why I always default in a way to the Rift S platform or the Rift platform or the Oculus platform, because it works on everything as far as I know, pretty much.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So yeah, I mean, in a way, you're then talking about having an index there with your knuckles. I'm going to use that today. Yeah, all right, there, back to the Rift S because it doesn't support it yet. And I do believe that as I said, I've used, and it was DX Falcon. He was in there earlier as well, man. He was in the Discord talking about it. The Index is an amazing headset. I think it's beautiful looking. It performs amazing. It sounds great. Everything about it is brilliant. I'm not actually sold on the controllers personally. I've seen a lot of people saying they're breaking, but either way, when I did use them, I was a little bit like, I don't know, man. Like, for me,
I find the hand grip is a little bit uncomfortable.
I just think the touch.
Can I just jump in here just for a second? We'll carry on with that conversation, but there's somebody on our Twitch restream who's asked, can you suggest a couple of games for a disabled person in the wheelchair? So I think I'd like to go back to that, because I've actually had a few disabled people in wheelchairs come on my PSVR chat. So we'll come to your question, JST Memrex.
Just memes.
You can let us know what. Can you let us know what?
Just the memes.
Oh, is it just memes? Okay.
Whatever.
Can you let us know what headset you've got as well, so we know what games?
It's just put on Quest.
Okay.
Moss.
Moss, yeah.
Definitely.
Anybody can play Moss.
Let's carry on with our thing, and we can come back to his question.
I can't remember it now. I wanted to talk about this one.
Okay, fair enough.
I was just like, that's.
I think this is a brilliant question, because I used to get this all the time on PlayStation VR.
We was talking about Index, but yeah, we'll go back. Yeah, so what games do you guys recommend then? What are you thinking?
Journey of the Gods.
See.
I think that's a good game.
Could you play that sitting down though? Are we talking about a game that could be played?
I do.
Yeah, cool. That's the thing.
Sitting down? I would almost, assuming this person has the use of their hands, I would recommend any kind of sim racing games.
Is there many on the Quest?
Oh, you said the Quest. I'm sorry. I thought you meant like VR in general.
Yeah,
No,
I mean, obviously
Quest.
we have got the racing games coming out.
I mean, unfortunately, I would say you're going to have to leave some of the better games on the Quest, like Pistol Whip. That's not going to work in a wheelchair, because you do need to, unfortunately, be able to move.
Like one of the games
they
I
had
played,
a
like,
new option.
Oh, is
They
there a
added
new option on that?
So you do take a points reduction, but they added a no obstacles motion part in that.
They did that with Beat Saber as well, didn't they?
can-
Get rid
As
of
long
walls
as you've
and stuff.
got the limited motion between left and right a bit to be able to dodge a bullet and a bit up down. So you might have that motion, but otherwise you don't have to make big motions.
Okay.
So you can still play it, but you're somewhat limited.
I think Ultra Wings, real VR fishing.
Yep.
Walk to the Wizard, I had a quick go on that. I think you could do that because it's
Somebody's put in the
teleport.
chat, Curious Tale of the Stolen Pets. I'd
Yeah.
100% say
Oh,
that.
100%.
Dash. Vader Immortal, I think you could do the single player. I think the dojo mode you might struggle with because.
Yeah, the dojo.
But can you turn that off though? Can you turn off the 360 mode? Someone said to me you could. You could turn it off to
can,
just be a
but
forward.
I still think it's a little bit weird because there's some points in that game, even like the story mode, that can be a bit odd.
Radial G, Star Trek Bridge Crew, 100%.
Absolutely. I think you can play Dead and Buried too sitting down.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, there's quite a few games actually. Looking at it, Angry Birds, Death the Lap.
Somebody's put Phantom Covert Ops when that comes out.
I don't think Job Simulator would be a good one because
No,
you
Job
have to move
Simulator's the one.
around a
Yeah,
lot.
you have to move.
Yeah, Job
definitely.
Simulator's
You have
like
to move around a hell of a lot. I haven't played Job Simulator properly because I don't have a big enough space to play it.
I Expect You to Die. It'd be a good one. Synth Riders. Be pretty cool.
Yeah, I Expect You to Die would be an excellent one. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good game.
What else we got? Robo Recall you could do because you actually teleport and then point where you want to face.
Yeah,
Good.
you can, but it's no. Yeah, you can.
Yeah, I think you
I
can.
guess the only time to require a bunch of movement is if you want to get cute and throw the robots all over the place.
Yeah, that's it, man. Yeah.
You could still do that. Some of that you could still do from there because they have the grab handles. You can do that from a wheelchair seated position, I think.
I've said it before as well. And Frank House in VR is free. What's the other one? Moon ISS? Is it Mission ISS or something? What's that one called? The space one. What is?
Yeah, it's Mission International Space Station and Mission ISS.
That is superb. They're two great free experiences. Two of the best, actually, I think, you can get. Obviously, you then got what's the poker game? Come on,
PokerStars VR. At least that's the one that I play.
Poker Stars. I don't think you can play Cloudlands, even though I don't like Cloudlands at all, really. What else have we got? Red Matter.
I haven't played that. So
Question: what do you think? I've played Red Matter twice, and I think you probably could. I think you probably could do Red Matter.
Oh.
Yeah, Mission ISS. Yeah, Gun Club. So yeah, Thumper. That's a fantastic game. Definitely check that out.
Is that available on Quest by itself? I thought that was a
Thumper?
thingy port. Yeah, I thought that was a Go port.
No, I don't know. I think it's on the Quest. I've got it on the Quest library here.
Some of the Go games have been ported and now work on Quest as well.
But I haven't got access to a Go library, for example, or have I? Because if I do, I don't know. Right? Okay.
You can through the Oculus app on your phone.
So I'm thinking that Thumper
What
is.
about the climb? Could you do that in a wheelchair?
Oh, that'd be really hard.
Yeah, I think it'd be really hard. You do have to press a button to jump,
You've got
though.
such a stretching, and it's really weird to do.
Yeah, Grambo says GT forgets about motion sickness. He's actually correct. I do forget about motion sickness. It's another factor. I'm talking. I know what you're saying. He hasn't asked me about games that do that. I'm just talking about games that you can play seated, but I do forget that in general. A lot of people ask me that. When I've done the Sonic thing, I found out later on that PewDiePie tried that Sonic Nim Sony thing for 45 seconds and it made him sick. So, you know,
I'm not surprised.
See, I didn't feel anything, to be honest. But yeah, so when it went on Reddit and other things, like people were commenting so much, saying this is a motion sickness fest. You know,
I need to ask you actually. You know, when you did that Sonic thing,
yeah,
was that tied to arm motion or
no, head motion?
Head motion.
Yeah, so technically I could have done that, I guess, but actually I run faster running, so you know I'd have to do that with my legs, and it just felt unnatural to do it in any other way but running. So yeah.
Travis Givens has actually just said in the chat, I play climb in the wheelchair all the time.
Excellent stuff. Thank you very much.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, jump in the Discord if you've got time. You know, you can always put a list together of games you play, and then that would help us be able to give that list to other people, because you've actually sort of certified some games, which would be great.
Yeah, there used to be a guy that used to do that for PSVR, who was in a wheelchair himself. He did have upper body mobility, but he was restricted in his legs motion.
Yeah.
And I don't know what happened with him. He's not done it for a while. He's only quite a young kid. He's only a teenager, and he was doing the PSVR games and assessing them by how accessible he thought they were, whether you needed like things like a non-sided wheelchair to be able to play it right and things like that as well.
Yeah, so
Travis Givens is actually put in the chat, that guy was me.
Sweet, man.
So we got the guy. So hi, Travis.
DX Falcons, but this conversation has been really good to listen to. Just the other day, I was thinking how much I want more sitting games to play because I get ridiculously fed up with standing too long to play. Now that is one of the things that I found.
Handy capable gamer. There you go.
Nice, dude.
Wow.
Nice, thank you. One of the things I noticed with the Quest, I tend to stand more. In general, like when I used to play my PSVR, unless a game like Super Hot or anything, I would default to sitting down and playing it. As with the Quest and also the Rift, I tend to move my chair, set my stream up, get ready. I'm sort of standing by default, you know. And I don't know whether that's down to the wireless, but that'd be the Quest, the tracking, or just the way the games are. Maybe there's, you know, I don't know.
In my case, it depends on the game, the immersion. If the game seems like the game would be a more immersive if you sit down, then I'll sit down. If the game seems like it'll be more immersive if you stand up, I'll stand up. Like a game like Firewall, I couldn't play that sitting down. To me, it would break some of the immersion. You know,
Right, okay.
where I'm supposed to be in combat, but I'm sitting.
Nice. Yeah, man, that's cool. Right, so on to a little bit more of this week's news. What was that? Ding!
That was a bowl
Probably
of
salsa with that iron mug or whatever it is.
That was like the old
con.
Kung Fu film sound, you know? I love that. That was cool.
that was a bottle of whiskey hitting a PC.
Kung Fu Hustle. That is fantastic. You haven't seen Kung Fu Hustle? Definitely. Have you guys seen Kung Fu Hustle?
Yeah,
No.
it's a great film. It's a great film.
Not much of a movie
hilarious.
watcher.
Man, that is
Hilarious.
that and It Man. I just love them. It's so entertaining. Super Hot grossed
What
2
about
million.
Shaolin Soccer?
Shaolin Soccer's fantastic as well. Absolutely
Well,
brilliant.
same producer, director, and stuff like that, wasn't it?
Did
So,
they make any more films after that though? After
They did.
Yes.
They
was
did.
good.
What was it? The Kung Fu basketball one as well.
I haven't seen that one.
So you got one that's Shaolin Soccer,
That's the first. That's one of the first. I know they've done that one. Then they've done Kung Fu Hustle.
and then they've got one that is all basketball based.
Right. I'm gonna have to check that out, man.
And there's a cookery one as well that was done before Shaolin Soccer.
Yes, I've seen that one as well, where he meets the girl who makes the pancakes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. So Super Hot VR grossed over $2 million in only 1 week over Christmas across all platforms.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, I don't know if he helped, but so what platform do you think those sales will come on? And do you think they're all virtual reality sales as
They
well?
are all virtual reality sales, as you said it was.
Super Hot VR, yeah. So are you thinking the Quest has more to do with this
Yep.
than anything else?
I absolutely believe that.
Okay. Because
I
it was
think
on
it's
sale,
the
wasn't
amount
it?
of people that
On
got-
PlayStation as well.
It was on sale on everything. It was on sale on Steam, on Oculus.
Yeah.
The only place it wasn't on sale was the Oculus Quest.
How much was it on sale for?
No, I don't know.
About £10.
$10.
So, yeah.
That
so-
makes it even more impressive that it grossed $2 million.
Yeah.
So I think the game normally retails for $30.
No, it's cheaper
No,
than that, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's a bit cheaper than that.
DX
I
Fax
thought
is
it was a $20 game.
I believe the first time I paid for it on PlayStation VR, I believe I paid $30 for it, and I believe
Yeah,
I paid
wouldn't surprise me if it was
25 for it on the Quest.
Yeah.
Okay.
See you later, Mick. Take care. Thank you. DX Fax, you speak. You just realised he's been 2 minutes behind for the past 10 minutes.
Oh, no.
I've done that
Tony
loads.
Brandon said it's 30.
Tony's actually just said it was on sale on the Quest as well over Christmas.
So that makes it even more impressive that it grossed $2 million when it was on sale.
It's crazy, dude.
And then the fact that this is an old game that's 2-3 years old.
$18.99 is on Oculus Rift.
But I still think the Quest version, for me, was the best way to play it.
It is.
Yeah.
Because of the wireless thing. It just made
Mm-hmm.
sense. It really made sense. So even though, as you said, it's like 2-3 years old, it seems to have evolved with the technology as it's gone.
And VR isn't like some of these flat screen games where they can like taper off, because usually the first wave of buyers is the most buyers you're going to get. And then it kind of tapers off. And sometimes they can bring these games back to life by adding by adding DLC and adding different multiplayer modes. But a game like this with no DLC, no multiplayer, nothing like that, for it to perform like it did was impressive.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's a fantastic game. So Just the Memes, he says, I think I've seen that comment already. Sorry, man. He says, "Can I come on stream and talk about being in a wheelchair, dude? If you want to talk about that, we can make a video on it. I can't just get you in now, kind of thing. Just like this. But if you want to do that, we can sort that out. As I said, if you could also, along with was it Handicap Gamer? Was the other guy? Who's the other guy earlier? Handy-capable gamer. There is another guy called Handicap Gamer. I seem to remember as well in our live chats.
Yeah.
If you're testing out games and trying them out, I can make a Discord channel for that. So we would have I don't know what we call it. How would you describe that channel?
There was another guy as well who's actually fully paraplegic, who was big on games, and that was kind of cool. Who actually played Valkyrie.
Yeah, so I guess we could just call it games for people suitable in wheelchairs or something. And if you guys could put in that your experiences with certain games, almost reviews, that'd be fantastic. That'd be absolutely great. And then if anyone does come in and they've got questions, we can always point them that way. That'd be cool. Next up, I don't know why I got a trailer for this one. Or have I? Have I lost it? I lose a lot of stuff. Hold on 1 second. It's normal. Desktop. Yeah, I've lost it. Has anyone in the chat, do they own a Vive Cosmos? Does anyone actually own an HTC? Look at Lincoln. Look at that frown. Turn that frown upside down, young man. What are you doing? What are you doing? Look at that. So the reason I say that is, if you live in America or Canada, it is currently $100 cheaper until the 10th of January. And I was wondering if anyone owns one. Like, everyone's just writing.
PD.
Paradise Decay has one.
Hold on, DX Falcon. I've used one as well, dude, and we can talk about that in a second. Paradise has got one. Yeah, I don't think he uses it very often. Where he can let us know why. But yeah, I just.
DX Falcon has used. He doesn't own it though.
No, actually, I'm like a little bit stuck on stupid. Is the Vive Cosmos a PC VR, or is it supposed to be like a hybrid?
No, PC.
PC, yeah.
Only PC.
Okay. So it's not wireless either then, is it?
No.
No, it's compatible with the Vive Pro wireless thing that you have.
I love looking at these comments. That Hussein, I own a Vive Cosmos, a picture of it. Paradise says he's used it twice and the tracking is really bad, so they actually sent him one to use. And
that's the killer. That's why I frowned about it, because I mean, what Oculus did, don't forget that the Rift S was met with a lot of skepticism about suspect tracking, but Oculus worked that out. And I don't know, it sounds like the Oculus Rift S might be selling out just like the Quest is, because through Twitter, Discord, and my own comments, people have been saying that they can't get hold of a Rift S. So, but this situation with the Vive Cosmos and this suspect tracking, I don't know.
So when I used it, did you ever go on it at EGX, Salsa?
No, I didn't, because I didn't want to experience the crapness.
Okay, so I did want to experience the crapness then, by the sounds of it, because
well, I didn't want to line up to experience the crapness. Let's put it
because I believe on the VR link a long time ago we spoke about it when it got announced. Finally, we got some details and we talked about it, because I was actually really excited about it. From a content creator's, as I can call myself that now, point of view, the ability to flip that visor and work or do something and then flip it back. That immediately, I thought, oh my god, that'd be amazing. Because as much as I love the Rift S, it's got a slider on it, dude. It does not hardly move at all. The PSVR actually has got quite a lot of range, which is nice. But to have a flip-up device, for me, was something I was very excited for. Because if I'm going up and down my head, all your hair gets on the lenses, and you got to clean it again, and And I thought it actually looked really good. I thought it looked quite a nicely designed headset. And then I got my hands on it, and all that stuff sort of died, because it felt like cheap plastic. The controllers, which I thought looked quite cool because it had like the 2 shoulder buttons. It's a bit different. The controllers were massive. It had the weird shoulder buttons on it. I was like, okay, I'll try and get over this. It inside the headset, it kind of reminded me more of the Rift than the Rift S. The Rift S visually impresses me still. I was not impressed by what I saw in the Cosmos, unfortunately. It looked okay.
And they're supposed to have a 1600 resolution.
Dude, it just seemed like the most expensive average headset. Do you know what I mean? I mean the price of that. With that reduction, $100, I think it's still $500. Is it $500? How much is it? Let's have a look.
No, wasn't it $699 when it came out?
Yeah, so it's $600 now. I can't ever. Well, I mean, if you've used one, you'd never recommend someone to use one, which is such a shame because when I used to track in, it wasn't great, and I think it's hard to get said. Is it better than PSVR? PSVR was more reliable. I played it for about. How long did I play it for, Nat? Because you were there, weren't you? How long did I use it for?
Yeah, about 10, 15 minutes, I think you played it for.
Something like that, man. And yeah, I didn't really, a couple of times it flew off and stuff. But it wasn't as bad as what I expected, but it wasn't great either. That was the thing. Like, the way, I guess, YouTube and everything else spread the word of how bad it was, I was expecting it to be disastrous. And it wasn't disastrous, but it wasn't great. So,
Well, I mean, depending on your point of view, in some ways I would say actually it is disastrous for the simple reason they've had everybody else's headset to look at and make adjustments. And they still released it at that level.
And they're still nearly double the price. That's what I don't get. Yeah, I don't really understand what they were thinking.
I mean, what I would say is if you sort of take the Quest and the Quest Link out the equation, I think if you're just looking as an entry level but still getting an amazing quality, I think the Rift S is a no-brainer because the library is phenomenal. Comfort level, from what I understand, is a lot better. I've actually pushed quite a few people over to yours and Salsa's channel because obviously you guys have both got PC and the Quest to answer, because I've had a lot of people ask me, what about the comfort level? And it's like, I can't answer your question. I don't have a Rift S. So speak to the other three guys on the VR Link. They'll be able to answer yours.
I can't speak enough about the comfort of the Rift S as well as the sharpness. And I think the Rift S has set the standard for PC VR. In my opinion, if you want a good quality headset without paying an arm and a leg for it, the Rift S has set the standard.
It is where I'd send someone to if I didn't.
If you want a really high-end one without going stupid, I would most probably tell people to go with a Valve Index.
I still think these controllers, for me, and bear in mind I've only been using this like nearly a year, PC VR. Like, these controllers, I think are like, for me, like the DualShock of VR. Do you know what I mean? I think they are a bloody good controller. I think the touch controllers are fantastic. I really do.
That
I really
thing
like
almost looks big enough to be a shock collar.
Yeah, it's kind of. I kind of.
What that?
That controller, it almost looks like you can unlock it, put it around your neck.
That's crazy because a lot of people moan
through your neck.
A lot of people moan about the touch controller, saying they're too small.
Wait a minute. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought that was like the angle you had it at. I thought it was a Cosmos controller.
No.
No.
The Cosmos one is it's sort of like the handle is bigger, and then this is so big, and it looks like that, and is like.
It's weird.
So
it is a bit weird. But even that, I thought the controllers looked cool.
Batteries.
I thought they looked cool with the lights and stuff. I thought this looks really cool.
I thought the design on them looked pretty cool.
Yeah.
But as soon as I saw it, I went, "Well, it's got to be a battery killer, doesn't it?"
Yeah.
Yeah. And then they went, give me a second, gentlemen.
It's tracked by normal RGB cameras.
Hold on, we might hear a toilet flushing in a minute. DX Falcon said, "I could genuinely fit my hand through the loop of the Cosmos controller." Dude.
Wow, I didn't realize it's as big as that.
This is what you need to address that battery issue.
Oh yeah, I mean,
rechargeable.
Look. Look who you're preaching to here, yeah, dude.
Whose is bigger, eh?
This is the exact same one. Money well spent.
Oh yeah, 100% agree. Money well spent.
Airman says, "I don't consider Rift S is an entry level. There are more expensive units, but they have faults. Also, more expensive isn't always better." So, yeah, that's cool. I mean, as I said, that I tried
I
loads of
was
different
just talking
headsets.
about price. I was
Yeah.
just talking about price when I said entry.
I tried a Vive. I think it was the Vive Pro, the Valve Index. The first time I tried Oculus Rift S was at Gamescom. I'd only used the original Rift before I went, and I come away thinking the Rift S is the best, and that's why I bought one, because out of all them headsets, it was so comfy and the visuals were so nice. Yeah, it was cool. It was good.
Can I also just quickly say about the chat again? Sorry to interrupt you guys. I've had a few things where people are saying that they're not getting their questions answered. We do try our best to keep an eye on the chat, but honestly, it scrolls really, really fast, and it is very easy to miss out on a question. We're not doing it deliberately. Not trying to answer your question. As soon as we see a question, we are trying to answer it.
Has someone said something? Is there something we...
Yeah, so Lord Necton.
Yeah, I have
something.
actually answered his question as well.
Oh, okay, yeah, he seemed to get very, very upset that we didn't answer his question. I didn't even see his question.
No, I
Like
didn't.
I say, the chat does move really fast. We do try and there is 4 of us, but there is going to be points where we do miss out on the question. We're not trying to do it deliberately.
It was a technical one in a, is this computer good
Oh,
value for money?
yeah, he's just put, I've
And,
just seen it, yeah.
It's sometimes a hard thing to say as well, because is something good value for money, and without knowing full details of what's in a machine build is very difficult. And of course, just having a scrolling list of what a machine build is and then going, let me go do my research and find out. But I did say that eventually what he has put as a price there, over what I can see, is generally a good price. So I think it's about £200 saving, possibly more, depending on the processor that he's talking about.
I feel really bad about that. I feel really bad about that.
It's gonna happen. There's no way we can get around. So
I don't care about the dislike. That don't bother me. But like he said, he said he's in our streams a lot, and I would say hello to everyone if I can, and
I mean, just if we don't see your question first time, submit it again. Just put it in again. Eventually, we will see that question.
Ask things in Discord is definitely a good place as well.
Oh, JD says he answered him straight away. So I don't know. Maybe he wanted an answer from us. It's hard. Just to say, from my point of view, it's really hard because I've got a script, I've got videos to run, I've got all little bits going on in OBS. I think I do try my best, and I mean it. I do try my best, because I've said to the guys when we first all got together, this show is going to be about everyone here and you guys. But there's also, it's hard because you still got a show to deliver. You've still got things to do and get out, and discuss. Yep. And everyone's not got an infinite amount of time. So, sorry, Lord Necton. I don't know if you've left, or I'm sure you have now. You look pretty pissed off, or sounded pissed off even. Don't know if you look pissed off. I don't know what he looks like. So yeah, just the memes. Okay, let's quickly do this. Please talk about this. He keeps writing it, and he's put it in capitals as well. Going back to wheelchair VR, wheelchairs like me, hand tracking Oculus, hand tracking it's good. He's just saying, I think he just wants us to know that he thinks hand tracking is good. I think it's okay. Like, I love the immersion of hand tracking in the Quest, and I hope it's going to come to the Rift as well. I don't see why it wouldn't. I think it's pretty cool. It definitely adds something. It sounds cheesy, magical.
Still somewhat limited.
It's glitchy.
The controller. There's still need for controllers.
It's a neat feature, but it's something that I won't take seriously until they perfect it and we see support for a lot more games. Yeah,
it's cool.
And I think that a lot of hand tracking games, when they do get it nicely supported, will be going, well, this is more of a room scale use thing, which will then possibly at times actually restrict gamers with accessibility needs.
Oh mate, so I'm getting this.
I
am, yeah. She says it to me all the time. So if I don't, this is the thing, right? My own wife. I come off the stream and she goes to me, "Are you ignoring my comments?" I'm like, "No, of course I'm not. I try to not to ignore anyone's comments. It's like when you're trying to play a game, I've got people talking and I'm trying to read and no, no. Why would I ever? In all this time I've done this, why would I ever ignore anyone?
Yeah, Airman says Star Trek will be a great hand tracking game.
Oh,
and
mate.
once they do perfect this hand tracking thing, I do expect Star Trek to be
100%.
one of the games that will support it.
I really hope so.
I'll buy that on Quest. Like, I think I said it last week. I'll buy it on Quest in a heartbeat as soon as they put in hand tracking.
I'm in that on that one as well. If they put in hand tracking, I'll buy it in a heartbeat as well.
Hold on, I want to confirm. Now, have you played Star Trek though on PlayStation? You're talking about double dipping. Yeah, that's cool.
I mean double dipping. Yeah, I don't see any reason to, because of the crossplay situation. I don't see any reason of buying it a second time.
Yeah.
I triple dipped.
But
I do.
I've already
honest,
done that on bloody well Beat Saber.
I do want a cup of tea. I missed
of
it.
Beat
I do want a cup of tea. I'm sorry. I keep missing. I love tea. She always asks if I want tea. I don't think I've ever said no to a cup of tea. Yes, please, everyone.
Cold Yogurt says he needs that feedback haptics. I think those are pretty cool too. But I think after the first couple of times of using that haptic vest, I'd probably end up taking it off.
Yeah. That was one of the highlights of the stream, I was told, was in Lincoln's house, there is a flush of the toilet or a running of a bath. I think you just witnessed it. I think you just witnessed it. If not, rewind it.
I also got a food fly that won't leave me alone, so I'm swiping at it too. So my apologies about that.
I think that's a drinking game about this, surely.
What, every time?
Says I'm greedy.
Yeah, it's a drinking game in the making, isn't it?
Every time someone flushes the toilet, we've got to have a shot.
Depends on the drink being got from the fridge.
No, I like it's good. It's fine. It's real. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, sorry about that, everybody. I was so busy trying to keep an eye on the chat so we could be a little more mindful of these questions that it totally slipped me.
Yeah, it's tough for me to keep an eye on. So the last bit of VR news is Doctor Who: Edge of Time Violinist Quest has been delayed, but apparently not for much longer. Maze Theory put out a tweet explaining they just want the game to be as good as it can be. Fair enough. That's it.
Let me understand the goddamn first puzzle.
Have you still not gone back?
Comments on it because with VR games coming out a mile a minute, hearing that a game is delayed, I guess it just kind of like, meh, we'll get it when we get it.
Yeah.
I've been a bit like, meh. Do you know what I mean? Just diving into some older stuff. As I said the other day, going into big screen was brilliant.
That Half-Life Alyx has been delayed, then I don't know. I might punch a hole in the wall if that happens.
Is the hat coming off?
It's gonna. It may happen though. I mean, we are talking about Valve here. We are talking about Valve. You realise this?
Oh my god! So
you do realise that
I get that.
Valve's track record.
If they were to delay it, say maybe a month, I would probably be okay with that because that would give me more time to work on Iron Man VR because that releases February 28th.
Yes. Yeah.
But if they say, November or something like that, I'm calling up Valve. Like, what in the world is going on? Somebody
You're calling them up.
As well.
You're calling them up. You're going to go, do you know who I am? I'm the coolest man to play all these games. What's going on?
So, yeah, just like it was said Valve, if you listen and if you mess with my games, you're messing with my emotions.
I gotta be honest.
Smoky.
I hope they don't delay it. But everything from Valve's past
Here he comes.
says it will be.
Yeah.
Because they delayed Half-Life 2 a week before it was meant to come out. There was nothing before that to say that they were going to delay it, and a week before Half-Life 2, which was the biggest PC game of the year that year, week before they said, sorry, we're going to delay it, and I think it was delayed 6 months. I hope that doesn't happen.
I hope it doesn't happen.
And to be honest, it shouldn't, because this is the only thing they've been working on, as far as we're aware. But we'll soon find out. I'm going to be paying my money for it soon anyway. So
As long as Lincoln doesn't punch a hole in the ceiling. Imagine
Well,
that. All that bath water.
Yeah, I've got to determine
All that
whether I'm
toilet
buying
water.
an index beforehand or not.
Oh no, sorry, South. What was that? Sorry, mate. One more.
I've got to whether I do the pre-buy is dependent on whether I end up buying index before the release or not.
So another conversation. Some people told me that they think Half-Life Alyx is overpriced.
No.
How we say that? We don't know how long the game is. We haven't played it.
We do.
Do we?
We've been told it's already the same. It's the same length as Half-Life 2.
Oh wow!
They've already told us
I didn't know that, and I still thought it was worth the price.
This is the kind of stuff that I was looking for: a AAA experience where we get a $50 or $60 game, and it looks like it's worth it.
But I think I said that when we did the Half-Life show. I turned around and I goes, listen, if you want a pure, full-on AAA game, guess what? You have to pay for it.
Yeah.
You can't look.
It's only £41 though. Like
I would have been okay paying $50 for Asgard's Wrath.
You can't be upset. I mean, like I say, what is it? Asgard's Wrath, £30. Lone Echo,
Wow.
£30. Lone Echo 2 will most probably be £30. Stormland, £30. They're really good prices.
Yes.
And it's everyone. Let's not kid ourselves around. Everyone, whether you are, especially if you're in the VR market, you are talking about Half-Life Alyx. Even if you're a PlayStation VR channel, like Without Parole Games and Polish Paul and all those guys, the one thing they're talking about is, will Half-Life Alyx turn up on PS5? That's the one thing they're talking about.
Yeah.
Everyone in VR is talking about Half-Life Alyx. You cannot discount how big, how earth-shattering this is.
Even outside of VR, they are talking
out
about
of
it.
VR, Angry Joe, the only time I've ever known him to talk about VR was when he got his PlayStation VR headset, and he never talked about it ever again. And he's talked about it. I disagree with what his comments were. Like,
and I love it that we have something.
Yeah, because you immediately have. So why can't I play this as a flat game?
What was that, Lincoln? Sorry.
I said I love it that we have something that the rest of the world wants.
Yeah.
Yes. Absolutely.
It was going to happen at some point.
See, I didn't know that. I did not know about. So a lot of people said they think it's going to be delayed. Tantrum says Q3. Q3 2021 for PS5. He's saying. Okay, that's not
whenever it comes out, I think it's going to have a huge. If it does come to PS5, I think it's going to be huge.
Simon Thurman says I think it'd be delayed. They didn't even have free locomotion system down a month ago, and that can completely change the mechanics they've been focused on.
Well, the best video I've seen so far about it is the tested video where they tested 8 headsets on
where
the game.
They have the locomotion in there.
Yeah, it's working.
I stayed away from it.
So that's now working.
That's the
Valve
thing.
Themselves did confirm the locomotion is actually the easier part for them to turn on and implement than the other stuff.
Yeah, I've stayed away from that tested. Now, don't take this personal, GT. I have made it a point to stay away from your lo-fi videos, too.
You what?
Yeah, I'm sorry, my guy.
What about if I do a lo-fi video? Will you stay away from that?
No, he'll watch yours, probably.
I don't want to see the game and start salivating like, I want this game now.
You should. That's what it's the hype. Hype.
Yeah,
hype.
I mean, you can put in now at sort of like an access thing and get early access to the.
And I don't want to be spoon-fed part of the game because I don't want to see.
To be fair,
nothing in it now, and then the next time I see the game, it's got a couple of characters.
The full-on game,
right? Because it's gonna make me mad. Like, hurry up and give us this game.
Truth is, like, when you play lo-fi, there is glitches still, and when you play it and you stream it and stuff, he's noticed things that he didn't notice before in testing from watching my video, which is pretty cool. So I was sort of expecting bits, but there's no. It's just like looking at an empty city. Almost, and watching it grow. That's what it is. And do you know what? You could probably reach out and be part of it.
Well, you can, can't you? You can buy it on itch.io.
Yeah, and
I'll be ready to play it when I can jump out of that ship and start blowing heads off.
He's so violent.
Yes.
So violent. Why? What's wrong? But yeah, lo-fi. When there's a bit when I went into a nightclub, and it blew my mind, dude. Absolutely blew my mind. Seriously, you alright, Sales? Don't die on stream, please.
Grab the inhaler.
Die afterwards. That's all right, mate. If you don't mind, please. Think of the viewers. So yeah. Anyway, that is this week's VR news, and I believe a good time to wrap up the show. If you guys are happy.
We're not talking about the haptic gloves for the Quest.
We can talk about the haptic gloves for the Quest, as I don't really know much about them.
I read an article on it. It's right now. It's mostly for corporate use.
Yeah, they're gonna unveil them at
$5,000.
Yeah.
Oh, well, they're not the ones with the Kaz and
The
Sherry
exoskeleton.
Yeah. Oh, the amount of videos I saw on them, and I was like, has anyone actually used them? I don't know.
There's so many things. Chaz and Kerry.
Kaz and Sherry have used them, yeah.
Yeah.
But they're not the ones who get all the views for some reason. It's a bit weird. They're probably...
Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite strange. Like, they would actually use them, show you them properly, but you get a nice thumbnail, dude.
It's a very good video, actually, on... If you want to see something about a haptic glove, they do actually a really good thing on that particular one.
Yeah, they're
with
awesome.
The exoskeleton.
Yeah, they're awesome, dude.
It'll be interesting to see if anything gets announced at CES, because there's huge rumours that Sony are going to unveil PS5
Yeah.
properly at CES, because they're done with E3 from what I can tell. So they're not going to unveil it.
You think they'll do PS5 at CES?
Yeah. Why not? If they're launching it this year, makes sense, and show us the box, give us more details, and then you can drip feed us details over the year. I don't think they mentioned VR, unfortunately.
Probably not.
Whatever, but I think they will. I think they will over the year release details.
Brandon
I
says
think they're going to give us a couple of crumbs at CES. I'm thinking they probably won't drop the big bomb until like around E3 or something.
Well, I think at this point, well, like Nat was saying, they've pulled away from E3 a lot. At this point, the big bomb that they can drop is, what will the price line be?
Yeah.
Or there's some other rumours going around that they might be looking into a Quest-style headset.
Yeah, I've heard that as well, like loads of sensors and stuff.
If they... do you mean is it standalone or wireless that Bluetooths to the
standalone? Standalone mobile to compete against Quest, which has me sort of like going, what would the possibility of Sony doing something like that, also hooking into the PC market, and then that also becoming your PSVR 2?
What, so you're saying that headset will be used on all formats?
Yeah. How would that be for something?
Would they do that though? Would Sony do that?
Well,
I mean,
they
kind of want to draw.
It's working out for the Quest very well.
Something like a hybrid, standalone that works like the Oculus Link or something. I think that would be.
Yeah.
Well, you got to look at Sony. What's their franchise? MLB, the show.
Yeah.
That's actually going multi-platform. That's their franchise. That is.
But I think the Major League Baseball, I believe, pressured them into that.
So look, I just want to say, right? So someone said, Dark's put. I thought the only reason they never done E3 last year is because they had nothing to do with the show, nothing to show. Brandon's put exactly. So I thought they was doing E3 this year, and everyone just speculated that they were giving up on it, and they added. I mean, did they put an official word out on this? Is this
no? They just said they didn't have anything to show. But to be honest, look at E3. It's irrelevant.
They did because, in my opinion, they did. I think that. Like around this time last year, I think I was still caught up a little bit in the console war, and I felt like, they didn't see any need to come there because they were the biggest attraction there.
Do you know what?
E3 was awful. Other than Jedi Fallen Order, we got a bunch of mobile games. We got, trash from Microsoft. There was no competition there, and they could have had their own event.
There's and I don't know if those Nintendo Directs are going down that well.
They're going phenomenal.
Are they?
Nintendo have actually
No,
proven.
not Nintendo Direct. The PlayStation Direct. I think people expect bigger things. Sorry,
Well, yeah,
not
Sony
Nintendo.
has screwed up on that. It doesn't really. It's not a great format. They need to tweak that. But Nintendo have shown E3 is irrelevant. It's good having that really big show, but if you Nintendo Switch is selling insane at the moment. It's the best-selling console out there for and I've had loads of people talking about it at work. I love the Nintendo Switch. It's an amazing console. I don't play too much on my PlayStation or my Xbox anymore.
Really?
Yeah, I've had that guys at work. I've played more on my Nintendo Switch, I would say this, in the past week than I have my PlayStation. Definitely. Only on the PC have I played anything close to what I've played on the Switch. And like I say, that's a lot to do with Witcher 3, because once you get involved in that story, you just, literally I play it until the battery dies. It's as simple as that. My battery dies and it's like, okay, well, I need to charge it again. I better play something else. But Nintendo have proved that E3 isn't as important as it was. And even a lot of people that are in the gaming industry are saying, unless E3 redefine themselves, they're going to go irrelevant. I mean, they've started to go that way because they've tried to copy what Gamescom did by letting the general public in.
Yeah.
E3 never, you could never get into E3 before. I mean, the one thing
I saw that. I read it. Thank you ever so much for the super chat donation from You Got Cold Yogurt. It's the new VR Roaring 20s. This is the year of VR, isn't it? A lot of people are saying this is the year.
So it's the decade. So before,
this is it.
VR Roaring 20s. There we go. That's what the decade is going to become, is it? There we go. There's the prediction.
Yeah, I put it a different way. I said that I think 2020 is going to be the year that VR gets ready to kick that door right off the hinges.
So, well, that's what it's basically saying. It's the VR Roaring 20s.
Right. Yeah, I get it. I was just like throwing my own spin on it. That was kind of my take on how I'm viewing VR. I think it's going to be an amazing year.
Yeah, I think it's going to be an amazing decade. Just look at everything.
Yeah.
This is going to be the last Xbox console, 100%, because they're just moving away from that. I think
it looks like a PC. That's the thing. Like it actually does look like a PC. I'll
tell you what I see happening. I see Game Pass as it is. I think that'll turn up on, because Sony will still do consoles. That'd be crazy not to.
The thing is, right?
I can see Game Pass for Microsoft turning up on Sony's PS5. That you'll play Microsoft games, because I think it's if you look at what Microsoft have done, they brought game studios to make content for them. So it's all about the games now.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
It's the one thing I'm kind of hopeful. Somebody said earlier in the chat when I was talking about Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice that they hope that Hellblade 2 will be made in VR. Now, based on what Microsoft have done with the Xbox Series X, I would say no. But because they're bringing it to PC as well, I think it will. I think they will do a VR version of Hellblade 2 for the PC in VR. Because those companies have a passion to make a VR game. They've proven that in Exile and Ninja Theory have proven that they've got a passion to make a VR game. Yeah. Well, they might not be able to make it for the Xbox, but they can sure as hell make it for the PC.
You got the developers of a flight simulator on the heels of Phil Spencer saying that VR wasn't coming to the Xbox. They had said that VR was like high on their priority list to bring VR to the flight simulator. And I would be interested in it if they did that.
Well, see, the flight simulator was a different point, though. And the one that I would say is the flight simulator is aimed at the PC primarily and is going to be playable on an Xbox. Mm-hmm. And the market for VR simulators is a different market that they were looking at initially for that. So their target demographic is one that is going, can we use this for VR simulation in actual training situations?
I just don't think that would be the last Xbox. I don't personally. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
I think there'll be more.
I kind of agree on that.
I think there'll be more. They don't tend to be walking away from anything. I don't get me wrong. I thought the latest version was really questionable. You know, even the look of it, I was like, what? And to be a PC owner now makes the Xbox kind of irrelevant. It's for me personally, and I know that. But I still think there's a market for people who don't want to own a PC and don't want to spend whatever amount of money and just don't want to bother with a PC. They just want to turn it on. Done.
It's a thing for developers as well. It's like you say, you just want to turn it on and done.
Yeah.
And that's because it's a set spec that developers can work to. It's easy for them to go, right, we know exactly what the machine is capable of.
Yeah.
We aim this exactly where it needs to be to give customers a consistent.
That's why that's amazing, isn't it? That is why this is so amazing. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's love it. Wonderful bit of kit. I do love this. I don't know about you guys. How often? Like, I literally, like today, I had like 15 minutes to do something, and or not do anything, should I say? Jumped in a quest. Do you know what I mean? I think it's awesome.
Just that easy.
Yeah. So Lincoln, something I wanted to talk about as well. You were saying you've got no PC to game on at the moment. Is that correct?
No.
So you're and before we started this live chat, we was talking about a conversation. This is how we met, I believe. I had a quest, and you asked me some questions, and then we got together for your podcast.
Yeah, I asked you on the show and to talk about your experience with the quest and where you think it was going to fit in the VR industry.
Because you, at the time, were like, I don't know, I can't really see this. Because there was a lot of other videos, I remember, because YouTube, to be fair, does influence a lot of people, obviously, saying that it was underpowered. I remember going back to some of my older videos with comments about the quest, and they were like, dude, this is going to die, it's going to crash, it's not powerful enough, blah, blah, blah. And it didn't matter if you talked to them about the heatsink, where basically it's not clocked, it's not a clocked processor, is it, I think, because of the, what's it called? What do they call it when they clock something because of the heat in the mobile phones? They basically, they have to cap it, don't they? Yeah, and I think with the Quest they haven't, have they? As far as I know, someone told me they've overclocked.
No, it's
it runs at full power.
It's not been throttled.
That's it. Yeah.
It's not been throttled back. You can actually push the Quest a little bit higher, but they kept that down to the 72 hertz. Was one of the things that keeps the heat back and keeps the battery usage in check.
Yeah.
Because it is capable of 90 FPS.
Yeah.
But
I heard that kind of stuff.
Thermal throttling has saying, that's it, man. I'm sorry. I think I'm still recovering from nights. I'm like, I'm all over the place.
GT, when you were a guest on my show, we talked about the Oculus Quest. My mindset at the time is that I didn't necessarily think that the Quest was going to fail. My thought was, how are you going to sell it to people that already have PC VR? Because I felt like the graphics would be a step backwards, because I felt like anybody who dove that far into PC VR was very concerned about graphics.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But a lot of people there hadn't tried, say, a bigger, wide-scale experience, a more freeing experience. And you do see that, like, we being tethered players a lot, you put on the Quest, and we don't move around as much as someone who has only ever had a Quest or not been in VR as much.
PSVR's been a nightmare for me because forward tracking. So, and it actually helps me to live stream because I know where my camera is and I know where everything is. So I'm always playing a game mostly facing forwards. And in some games, I should actually be spinning around, maybe to make it easier for me. But I'm so used to facing in one direction, all because of the tracking. So yeah, I don't know. I'd imagine if you'd just been a Quest owner, that would be, or a 360 tracking owner, that must be pretty different. You know,
I'd never thought in my wildest dreams I'd be supporting the Quest the way I am right now, and I just can't get over the convenience of this headset. Playing from this chair, the couch, my bedroom, the kitchen.
It's beautiful.
It is. Hey man, don't feel so. I mean, I feel you too, man. I'm weeping right with you, man.
Sweet. Decepticon.
Budweiser commercial. I love you, man.
Oh, dude. I got these cheeseburgers, man. Right, so everyone happy? Everyone, because I think it's a good time to end the show, unless you've got something else to add. I didn't know about the gloves, dude. Did I miss that in the Twitter feed? Was there a DM that I missed? Oh, I'd have added some stuff.
No, that's all right.
Oh, right, cool. So yeah, thank you everyone for appearing on today's show. Thank you for your likes, thank you for your comments. I do want to apologise to Lord Nexton if he sees his back. It's never my intention to miss a comment, but unfortunately, as all the guys said, it's just what happens. And I know what that's like, obviously, because I watch other people all the time. I support everyone in VR communities and on their channels, and I say stuff and it's missed all the time. It's never particularly bothered me. I don't know, and the fact he's been here all this time, I'm really surprised he got that angry. Like, I don't know, but there you go. So, yeah.
Before we get out of here, I want to respond to DJ. He said he's still on the fence. Wish there was somewhere I could go try the Quest out. I think the one thing about the Quest that I had to tell myself is stop comparing it to PC VR in terms of the graphics.
Yeah.
Once you put that out of your head, you're going to find what an amazing device it is.
He's only got PlayStation VR.
Where does DJ live? Is he American or is he British?
No, yeah, he's British, dude.
There are places in the UK you can actually test it. I think you can find it on the Oculus website.
He's a little bit
actually
northern.
tell you place.
He's a little bit northern. He is. He's a little bit. Yeah.
I'm sure. Hey man, they've still got money in the north. What are you talking about?
What you need to do, DJ? Why don't you? Why don't you ask in the Discord? I bet there's someone. Yeah, because I know Salsa gets on. You see Buck, don't you? And you.
We're not north.
No, what does that matter? What I'm trying to say is the fact is you've met through VR and.
Yeah. But there is probably some people around some of the shows and stuff. But Nat is 100% right though. You can find places.
You can find places.
Watford would be north to the Gamertag, wouldn't it?
So yeah, it is.
See, that's north. That's
yeah,
south.
Watford would be north.
DJ, and like as I said, I love my PSVR. Like if you talk to most people who get a Quest, they love it. There's no choice about it. It's fantastic, and that's why I wanted to bring up what Lincoln was saying earlier before we started the show. He just come out of it. He literally said like the Quest has basically kept him in VR. It's kept him gaming, and I think you're just falling more and more in love with it, aren't you? You're falling more and more in love with that headset.
Yeah, even before my PC took a crap, I was still using the Quest every single day because of the convenience of it. No wires, anywhere you want to play it at.
That's it, man. That's it. That's what it's all about. So yeah, that's what Discord's all about. People getting together and meeting up and stuff.
He's apparently from the Midlands.
Oh, he's from the Midlands. All right, cool.
That entire swathe of country, a huge swathe of country that's been forgotten.
I don't know what's going on. Yeah, so it's hard to get. It says the Oculus Quest standalone is a little lacking. Well, that's cool.
I disagree. I mean, if you're another person is comparing it to PC, if you're comparing, games like Asgard's Wrath and like trying to compare the graphics of Asgard's Wrath to something you might see on a Quest, then of course you're not going to like it. But again, you have to treat the Oculus Quest the same way you would treat the Nintendo Switch. Now that we have the Oculus Link, it is the full-blown VR version of the Nintendo Switch. Nobody buys a Nintendo Switch with the intentions of seeing graphics that's similar to the Xbox One X or the PlayStation Pro. You have to look at it that way to be able to appreciate it.
Yeah, man, and this is what I don't get. That's what I don't get. I don't get that these things that happen that people think that, it's crazy.
Can I just point out? So I've just noticed something what JD wrote in the chat.
What's that?
Have you seen the chat number?
No, it just says
233 watching now.
What the hell? How did that happen?
What?
Jesus.
Holy smokes! But I've been saying.
Thank you.
How did
that
happen? Guys, if you're new to the channel, welcome.
Haven't I been saying that we got a great show and the audience is growing, and there's not that many show out there like ours.
Holy crap!
That's
Never
crazy.
Seen that before.
So I'm not trying to be arrogant, but I'm not terribly surprised by the audience that we got. I think we have a great show going on here.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So I feel bad for ending it now. So, it's crazy.
Everybody, thank you so much for your support. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you guys. Thank you ever so much. As I said, what is this, our 28th episode, 29th episode altogether?
29th, I think you said.
29th. And
29th. It's episode 29.
yeah, and we're trying to build the show, make it as best we can. As I said, hopefully people didn't mind the intro today. I think it got more people in here and kind of got over the notification system of YouTube that seems to be a bit of a problem. So yeah, thank you. Boy Brown said it would be 235 with Lord Necton.
We're not trying to rag on
That is so
Lord
bad.
Necton.
That is.
Let's just say we're not trying to rag on Lord Necton. Look, we really appreciate all the support you've shown us.
Yeah, absolutely,
And
guys.
we're sorry we missed your question.
Well, it's
wasn't
the same,
intentional.
like we've said. We're sorry if we do miss comments and stuff like that. Sometimes there are some questions that are not great in this format as well. That just trying to answer them back, you'll get a technical person like me go blah 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 blah, and everybody else go
Yeah, I mean, some of the questions we will actually answer in the chat itself. We won't actually answer live.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, man.
there is that. So
I keep thinking
yeah.
that must be an error. That can't be right.
Well, it's gone down to 165 now. So
Yeah, we
Crazy.
kept on talking too long about it.
That's it.
Damn it.
So then, guys, thank you ever so much for watching. Really appreciate it. And we will see you all super soon. So, what you guys got? Guys got anything planned for this week? Anything in
More
particular?
Quest.
More Quest.
Mm-hmm.
More quests for me as well, because my black screen issue, and hopefully to get a bit better because I'm not 100% as well.
Okay.
well, for me, I'm hoping that I'll clear up whatever the hell's wrong with me. I want to play some more PC games. There'll be some more streams, but I'm actually off not next week, but the week after. I've actually got the whole week off, and I'm going to do a whole set of apology streams because I've been given a lot of games by developers and I haven't covered them.
Oh man,
I'm literally going to spend the majority of that week playing games that developers have kindly given to me that I just haven't been able to get around to for whatever reason.
I'm going to play some more Racket Fury. I'm off tomorrow, so I'm going to be playing a lot of VR today, and I'm going to get that first win on Racket Fury.
Nice. So yeah, people, I don't know what they're going to be playing. So Secret Sauce said anything coming for Quest next week. I actually don't know at the moment.
Anything on the radar?
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure what's coming next week.
I think Population 1 is probably one of the next games that's been advertised on the Quest that I'm looking forward to.
Yeah,
Even
man.
though the market's oversaturated with Battle Royale games, I'm definitely looking forward to it.
It's saturated with Battle Royale games, but when it comes to virtuality ones, good ones.
Yes.
Like Population 1 actually looks legitimately like the first one that you could go, dude, that is up there with console.
And this game, you know, it looks like a quality game. And I think the biggest impact of this game is going to be on the Quest. This is a game that the minute I saw it, I thought Quest.
Mm-hmm.
Just actually had a quick look on the Oculus app. They're saying that 2MD VR Football Unleashed is coming out next week, 9th for the 1st.
Oh, nice. You'd be all over that, Lincoln, wouldn't you? You love a bit of American.
I already have it on the PlayStation VR.
Yeah, and
what's that?
what do you think of the game?
I played that, and I think VR Sports Challenge on the Rift is much better.
Oh, okay.
Because you're not just playing football; you're playing football, basketball, hockey, and baseball.
Sure, I didn't even know about that.
But I think it's decent, and it's a game I very well could double dip on because it again the freedom of movement to be able to go through actual throwing motions of throwing passes and not have to worry about that wire behind my back and stepping on it.
Yeah, that's pretty sick, dude.
Well, we've got in a couple of weeks. We've got Walking Dead Saints and Sinners supposedly. I think that's the 22nd of January.
Man, I can't wait for that game. And I've had an email.
And
I've had an email.
The other things that are just past this, Iron Man.
Iron Man, yeah. There's that's February, isn't it?
February 28th.
Yeah.
Are we going into a 2020 video game conversation? It's leading that way.
Oh, we was ending it. Sorry.
It's Are you gonna talk about
You have to
2020?
come back next week to see where this stuff goes.
Yeah. So anyway, guys, thank you ever so much for being here. You make the show what it is. We're just like the conduits, so to speak. So make sure you check out Lincoln Clay from Lincoln Clay 670.
Wakanda forever.
Make sure I should have actually done him last because that's like our last sign out. I do apologise.
It is.
Salsa
go
from
back
Salsa
to it.
Ketchup VR. We're gonna have to. Yeah.
Thanks.
Nice. And Nat from 7 Degrees of Gaming.
Thanks, guys.
So be sure to check out all their channels. And I'm gonna. Shall I edit this bit out? You gotta do it again. And Lincoln Clay from Lincoln Clay 670.
We
No,
will
the
not
moment's
have it
passed.
all. Wakanda forever.
See you later, guys. Thank you very much.
Have a good one, everybody.
Bye
Take
bye.
care.
Bye
Bye bye.